Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number... I should always look at these before I start. Is it
27.
27. I think it's episode 15. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing I should do beforehand.
We're professional guys. Come on.
Really?
It's okay. It's just talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Yeah, look. I better find out first because I'm tired of shit.
Podcast.
Oh,
Yes, this is episode 15. I was right the first time. Well, second time.
Oh, so it is
Of
episode
course
27.
you
Awesome.
were.
And we have some spoilers for Galaxy of Terror.
Yeah.
Or
we
as,
do.
as Chris lovingly dubbed it in the Facebook chat, Galaxy of Bad Movie.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and do that. I'm surprised that the whole thing uncut was on YouTube, because there was there's a little bit of nudie stuff in there.
Yeah, there is a little bit. It could have been worse, but we'll get into that because there's a fun story behind that.
Yes, I read the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, there's a real fun story behind that one.
So if you don't want the movie spoiled for you, we suggest you go ahead and watch it. You can see it on I think you said, Matt, it's on British Netflix at the moment.
Yes, at the moment it is, yeah.
If not, it is on YouTube in various forms. One I found had English language but Polish subtitles, and
that would
I
make
started
good.
off on that one, and then I changed to another one that didn't have subtitles when I found one that I didn't think had skipped the opening. But we'll get into that.
It's a strange beast.
I'll have a link to the best possible version below in the description.
It's an odd, strange little movie that couldn't.
Yeah, I feel like my life is enriched having watched it. I don't feel like I had a bad time, but I think maybe I had a bit of a good time because I was kind of laughing at it a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yes, we
How
shall.
have your weeks been, gentlemen?
Oh, what's going on? I've just lost
Hello?
audio.
Completely?
Oh, you're back now. That was weird.
Okay. I can hear me and you, but I can't hear Chris.
I didn't say anything, but you can probably hear me now.
Hey!
Hey,
Technical
why?
Okay, I can hear you both now. That was
So yeah, just before that, I said, how have you guys been this week?
good. Work is work.
Well, it's been nice. Oh, sorry, Stretch. I've been off all week from work, but that doesn't mean I wasn't doing anything. There was quite a lot of stuff to do around the house and the yard and that kind of stuff. Did a couple mass burnings. That sounds yeah.
It sounds much more ominous than it probably was.
yeah. It really wasn't all that bad. But what did happen is that a tree got struck. Was it by lightning? No, it wasn't. Was it? It snapped. We have a tree in our yard on the right hand side. If you're looking at the house, and I think either lightning struck it once or twice, or the wind blew so hard it snapped, or a combination of those three things. But fortunately, no one got hurt. The house didn't get smashed in by the tree, and neither did the neighbors. But it did break the fence around the area, so we basically had to, cut it all up, and we didn't have any use for the woods, so we burned it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
We cut some trees down last year, and we chopped a whole load up with a chainsaw, and then we got this log splitter to kind of split it into bits, and filled up a whole log store with it, which we burned all through last year, through the winter, and it was really kind of nice to have a log fire.
Yeah.
And then this year in the garden, there's still a shit ton more logs that we've had to kind of cut up and move. So
Yeah, it's a lot of work, It's like, I'll be out there for an hour. I'm just going to saw some of this up, it'll be fine. Yeah.
And the rest, man. We were there like 2 or 3 hours yesterday just splitting these logs, me and my brother. Because my wife tried to use it and managed to get her thumb infected massively. She mangled her thumb in the thing. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yikes. On the
On
chainsaw?
purpose.
she
Just
just
get
walked
out of
in
it.
with a big smile on her face showing me her thumb to remind me to tell you that, yeah, she's a screw up.
She walked in, she's like, big smile, like, hey, you see this? Right, get to work, bitch. That's what she was saying to you, basically.
Both of you.
Incidentally,
Shit.
not my not my next choice because I've already decided what I'm going to choose for homework next week.
Right.
But the next choice that I have after that, I've actually kind of have to give over to her because she said after this week, Matt, she wants a choice. So
That's fine.
So I'm forfeiting my next turn. So
Hey, I never said it'd be good.
no, that's true. And to be fair, we both picked. I don't know if Chris has, but I definitely have picked films blind. So I kind of had a rough idea, but I didn't know if we would enjoy them. So
Yeah, this is my first
you
one.
know, it can go either way.
Yeah, the Dead Rising movie was blind. I didn't know anything about it going in, so yeah.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And that turned out pretty well, I'd say. I would like to watch that movie like a dozen times over this one.
About 50-50.
Well, a dozen times, what was it, 2.5 hours?
Yeah. All day marathon. Morning to midnight. Over watching this movie again.
Speaking of Dead Rising, I managed to pick up the online pass, the season pass for Dead Rising 4, because it's really, really on a low discount at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm super looking forward to playing that. I had a look through all the releases that have been released on the season pass, and some of them are just bizarre and weird. Like, there seems to be, you know how, I think it was Dead Rising 3, they had that special game mode that was like kind of like a Street Fighter parody.
Oh, yes, it was like a 4-player co-op thing, and it was the only 4-player co-op thing.
So they have one for Dead Rising 4 that's kind of like mini golf.
What?
I was flicking through it and I saw, mini golf, kind of like, I guessed it was a kind of a parody game like the one for Dead Rising 3. So I thought, okay, that's pretty good. And then I had a look and there's some kind of like end game scenario where Frank's infected and he has to get the cure or something. So I thought, sounds okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, like, it's funny about that concept of making a video game and then making smaller micro video games within the video game as a selling point for the primary video game. You know, like, if you didn't want the primary video game to begin with, why would micro video games within the primary video game be a selling point?
It's true. I mean, the only real reason I can think of is that they kind of remix things in a different way. So they reuse assets and things, so they don't have to make too many new assets. But they shake things up and give you more player sort of content to play through. Like with the Resident Evil 7, some of those extra modes, like the bedroom and what have you, I liked a lot. But then some of the other modes, like the time trial one with feeding Jack, was it? I can't remember what it was called. Jack's 50th birthday. Timers like that get me stressed out, so I don't like that kind of gameplay. But there was kind of like a little bit there for everybody, I guess. So
yeah. But like those challenge modes
compared to the original content in Resident Evil 7. So.
Yeah, but in the Resident Evil 7 like challenge modes, you're still playing the same style of game. Like, you're still first-person shooter, running around, grabbing items, doing things hurriedly with some urgency that you would in the primary game. I'm just assuming that Dead Rising 4 doesn't have a lot of mini golf in it. So, like, when you're playing the mini golf side game DLC, you're not really playing Dead Rising 4 anymore, right?
No.
Possibly, unless I haven't checked, but it might involve just going around and twatting things with a club like you would in Dead Rising anyway.
Like you would.
Like you would. But it's
That's
a good
fun.
point. I mean, how much time do you expect them to put into those mechanics? How well will they actually be formed if they're just kind of like throwaway things?
Like, if you're interested in playing a mini golf game, buy a mini golf game, you know?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I did, and it's called Dead Rising 4.
I did.
That's what I expected from my Dead Rising 4 game. Give me my mini golf.
Finally, the DLC dropped.
Yes, the mini golf DLC is what I've been waiting for. Unseals the game.
Well, see, I've got the season pass now, but I probably won't actually go back and try Dead Rising until it's like Christmas time again, because otherwise playing it is really bizarre because it's full of snow and candy canes.
Yeah, that's the problem when you set a game at like a specific time, specific time of the year like that, especially like Christmas. It's weird. It's like, hey, look at all this Christmas themed stuff. But I'm playing it in July and it's fucking hot as shit.
Yeah, I wish it was Christmas.
Yeah, oh, they got it so bad. All nice and snug in their clothing.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 did the same thing. They have DLC seasonals that's the wrong way to say it, but they have one for Valentine's Day, one for Thanksgiving, one for Christmas.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and I mean, I played the one for Christmas because I don't really care about Thanksgiving that much, and Valentine's Day is... Oh, they did have one for Halloween. That was kind of fun. But, yeah, I played the one for Christmas, and it's a fun little like side gag where you're basically playing Borderlands 2, but just surrounded by Christmas. So, it follows what I was trying to say. Like, it didn't, like, change the game to be, like, a mini-game of something else. It's still Borderlands 2. You just shoot snowmen and Christmas elves, and, like, all the item chests are Christmas presents. And it's delightful, actually. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. But playing it in July would be kind of weird unless you're just like speedrunning it or like researching it or just ran out of everything else you wanted to do that day, and it's the only thing you had left on your list is to play Christmas Borderlands 2. As it happens. So
there must be. Yeah, it's. I would love to play it and just kind of get some of the coldness rub off because, as usual on this podcast, we talk about the English weather quite a lot. And at the moment, it's sweltering. Please send help.
Please,
please send snow.
The worst thing, yeah, please. Well, the worst thing is that, like last week and the week before, it wasn't that bad. It kind of evened out. It was about
it went a bit cold. 23.
And it's like that's fine. That's fine. And now the last few days, it's gone. Fuck you very much. 28, 29. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I have to have the fan on all night just to try and get to sleep.
Oh,
you
man.
and your Celsius.
We've got a sweet ass system. We've got 2 fans in the bedroom. One is at the foot of the bed, and the other is on my side of the bed, obviously. So we've got like this kind of crisscross pattern going on. One is oscillating, one isn't. Like one is permanently on my face, and the other one is like oscillating, like across my toes, which is really nice. And the window is open, and if we have the window open on one side of the house and the window open in the bathroom on the other side of the house, you get like a through draft. So like, nice. It's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have a ceiling fan.
I wish I had built-in air conditioning. But it should be a standard. It's not fair.
It should be, actually. Well, there's a lot of not opportunities. There's a lot of options for that kind of thing that isn't just built-in air conditioning nowadays. Like, there's of course the air conditioner you can put in your window, but I'm not really suggesting that. I've seen ones that you can just like put on the like on the top wall, not the ceiling, but just under the ceiling that's still on the wall, and it just sort of like blows air forward and down throughout the entire room. A friend of mine has one in his office, and it's really nice, actually. There's also one in the
several of these to my person. Just walk around in a kind of like a
the 90s boombox era where you had one on your shoulder. But also the hotel I was in the Philippines had one of those, and it's really effective because it shoots air forward and down from the ceiling level, so there's like nothing in the way, and it just keeps the cold air raining down upon your head in a blissful Christmas-like scenario.
I'm feeling chilly already.
I wish I was cold. I'd give anything to be cold.
You guys.
Yeah.
By the way,
the reason why we complain is just because it usually isn't this hot. So
it's more of like a humid, sticky hot as well. There's no breeze. It's just uncomfortable to breathe.
Yeah.
Ugh. And I've got to get a train tomorrow for work.
Yeah. What's funny though is that like for the last 2 nights I was out from like 8 to 10:30 or almost 11 o'clock having a bonfire.
I am very envious.
It's like it's not that hot at all, really. Actually, it was rather cool nights, enough that we could comfortably host a bonfire.
Damn you.
Yeah. Oh, quick safety tip for you listeners: make sure you put that shit out, because both times.
By the way,
both times, like we would like pour water on the fire, like we have a water hose, and just spray it all down till it's just nothing but smoke or whatever. And I even took like a rake and just started like going through the coals and moving it around so the water gets even coverage, like you would syrup on pancakes. And then I went back out like 3 hours later, and the fire had restarted.
What?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I was like, what could I have done differently?
Wait, but didn't I? What are you doing?
Yeah, now it wasn't like
you
flames.
did the raking. You did the syrup like pancake water all over the place.
Yeah, and now the thing is, like, we have a fire pit, like an iron fire pit, so like all the ashes are just piled in to the iron fire pit, so it's not like littered on the ground where you can like spread it all out evenly or whatever. And there was a lot of ashes because we just burned a whole tree. So, which was a lot of fun, by the way, because you just more wood, sure, we got plenty, just stack it up there.
More fire.
Fire going straight up too, no wind or anything like that, so it's like the smoke and fire went straight up. It was beautiful. It was like a funeral pyre.
I just have visions of you throwing logs on this fire while like laughing to the sky, saying, "And it's 28 degrees Celsius in England."
Watch me warm my head since it's such a chilly evening.
I am sending you our heat.
Yeah, did some voodoo shit to your whole country.
Oh
It's
man,
not
could you
global
not?
warming. It's just Chris from America. The bastard. I knew it.
Tell him to stop. Does anyone have his number? Fun fact, I have my phone turned on silent 24/7, so you wouldn't have got me.
That explains everything.
It's all part of my devious plan.
Must contact the Queen immediately. If she
Well,
hasn't died from
The
heat.
Queen has got like wall to wall those things that Chris is talking about.
Probably,
shooting
yeah.
air straight at her.
Yeah.
She's
She's
got, like,
walking
5
in with a
people
winter
around her.
coat. Brisk morning, isn't it? Or however she would sound like.
No,
Oh,
that
brisk
sounds
morning,
pretty
isn't
much.
Yeah, just that, but a bit more contempt for the poor people.
Oh, brisk morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, that's it.
So she sounds. I'll tell her you say hi.
You know, as an American, it's really hard for me to understand that you guys have a queen still. I hate saying
I don't
that.
even understand.
Yeah, as an Englishman, it's also hard for me to understand.
Okay, good. I didn't want to be like that guy, but at the same time, it's like they still have a queen.
You know, it confuses me to no end, especially when they're saying, well, we're struggling with the NHS and we're going to have to make cuts, cuts to the fire service, basically cuts to everything, for people that keep you alive, because we don't have the money. But the royal family and the Queen in particular are going to get a pay rise, so there's that.
Oh yeah, Buckingham Palace needs renovations, so
It's like-
millions of pounds. There they go.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Right?
Not to mention, without getting political, our current government is only propped up by another sort of regional seat of government, sort of elected officials, because they threw them a 1 or
0.5
1.5 billion sort of essentially bribe. So our government and our sort of monarchy, for they're not explicit, but they're kind of like, the fact that they exist is an affront to telling us people who are not on millions of zillions of pounds that we have to suck it all up and not have money, but at the same time 1.5 billion appears and disappears.
And they used the whole election campaign whenever someone bring up like the opposition would say they do this, and it's like, oh, there's no magic money tree, there's no magic money tree.
It was
and lo and
like a
behold, it looks
buzzword.
like there is a magic money tree because they fucking found it. So
Yeah.
and if this is piss anyone listening off that's say on the right side of the spectrum, and they don't like it, get fucked. Basically. Because fuck you.
I'll just chime in here and say, yes, get fucked twice.
It's just get fucked twice.
If you're gonna try and defend that, then just get fucked away.
Yeah.
So
Man.
yay. Anyway, back
Oh man,
to
yeah. Let's not talk about the horror show that is our fucking government.
so
Yeah.
that's my worst fear. It's come to light.
Like,
Hey, Chris, you know how your bonfire is like heating the entire country? Are you doing something behind the government as well? Is that like you turning off a light in a cupboard somewhere that makes that happen? Could you not?
If is this like Dark Souls? Like, do you need to keep the bonfire going so that Trump is continually orange? Is that what is it like the bonfire in Dark Souls where if it goes out and it's the end of the world? And
well, yeah,
and
he's
all that,
orange
'cause
because
I'm
he's a
curious.
hollow. Don't you understand? So,
Oh man, I need to play this game so I can get that joke.
well, a hollow is basically a sentient zombie that you play as, and when you kill a boss, you get 1 point of humanity. You can use the humanity to become human again.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
It
If
all
only
makes
it was that
sense.
simple.
There's also
you're-
other ways to find humanity, and it doesn't make any sense at all. But there you go.
Yeah, if
That's
you help
the
other
game.
people, sometimes.
Help other people. Sometimes you find it lying on the ground. Like, oh, here's some
Oh,
humanity.
Oh, cool. Like a penny. Ooh, I found humanity. Ooh, what a lucky day. Ah, fuck, I'm dead. Because think
Now I'm
Someone decided
fleshed
they
out.
didn't need theirs anymore.
And then times
Right.
that's later on you fight humanities as well. It's weird.
Wait,
Is that the
what?
second one? And I think there's like spectral beings you fight. I think it might be in the second one or towards the end of the first one. They look like the humanity icon. It's
Oh.
weird. It's so weird.
Oh. Maybe. I
Man,
only
this
got
is
through
more
like
true to life than I thought.
I only got through like a quarter of Dark Souls 1 because I was struggling with trying to record it well, like quality gameplay, you know.
Oh shit!
And yeah, it's just it's a bad time. Like I was trying to do it, and I had a guy who was actually watching my stuff, and he was sort of a fan of mine for a while, and so I was like listening to his suggestions, like you should totally fight all the Dark Knights, and I'm like I don't like fighting the Dark Knights because they're
scary.
really big and scary, and they're hard to parry. That rhymed. It was a poem. Really big and scary, and they're hard to parry. And they are. They fucking hard to parry because like you have to hit the L2 button to swing your shield aside at just the moment of impact, but it's not always a visual confirmation. It's like a frame data confirmation. Like you just know eventually when the game says it's made contact and not so much when it's actually made contact. So it's hard to really time that out right unless you're like staring them down and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it, and no one wants to watch me doing that on a recording. So I would try to do that off recording, and then I felt like I kind of got it. I'd go back, and then I just totally didn't get it, and it's like,
That's sick. No,
You know?
no more.
yeah,
I'm
do I
done
just
with this.
re-record this one fight with an unnecessary enemy who's not even a mid-boss in any way, shape, or form?
I don't have to fight that I can just run away from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man. But he was like, it's so easy, just parry it. It's like, fuck you, guy.
I rarely parry in Dark Souls. Rarely, because I'm just not good at it. So I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna dodge roll like a bitch.
Yeah, I just got a shield that was, had good. I think it was a poise. The thing that makes
Yeah,
it so you
poise.
don't. Oh no, it was 100% blocked strength or something that makes it so that you don't take damage as long as you have stamina, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because
that's
if
about
you
right.
have like 50% block strength, like on a buckler, then you take half the damage and have stamina drain, but you don't take the full damage, so it's still worth holding up. But in some cases, you can get like a parrying shield that has a higher chance to parry, like a larger frame window or whatever for parrying. And if you block, you just get murdered, but you can
get
parry
destroyed.
easier, so it's sort of a trade-off. But I went with the full block strength, and I found out that I can just block his entire combo and then hit him. But nobody wants to watch me do that.
But then you just get loads of comments like, get good scrub, and you're like,
Yeah.
go get fucked.
Yeah, I spent hours on this for you. Fuck you,
You play the game, fuck away.
right? And it's
Get
kind
out,
of it's actually kind of interesting because I've been watching SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quickly speedrun event for charity, and like I watched the Okami speedrun where like you basically glitch the game as much as possible to get from A to B as fast as possible. But one of the glitches is like he jumps Amaterasu into like an open like free fall pit, hits the menu, switches costumes, switches back, closes the menu, and then it refreshes your jump. So you can just jump again and then just keep jumping. And then you could just jump across the whole map that way.
Wow.
Now, no joke, these people do that once in the speedrun 100 times. So every speedrun attempt is at least 100 menu glitches you have to perform to complete the speedrun.
I'm always kind of I'm always against like using like glitches like that as well. And it's like someone goes, "Oh, I glitched so and so, and I got like the fastest speedrunner." How'd you do that? Well, I basically use an exploit to skip most of the game. Like, you didn't play the game.
Yeah, it's like it's much more fun to hear how they did the thing that you couldn't do very well extremely well than it is for them to have found a shortcut to go around the thing and then to dodge it entirely.
I sometimes I do enjoy watching because most of those runs tend to be any percent because it's literally just it doesn't matter, just get through the game as quickly as possible. I usually tend to find people explaining the strategies much more interesting than
Yes.
actually watching the strategies themselves.
Yeah.
There's this guy, I'll link him below. He's called KZ Fru. He's a speedrunner in the GTA community. I think at one time he either held the record for Vice City, or he at the very least he did Vice City at one of the games done quick, and it was a really good hour-long video of him explaining, and I think the run is something like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's not very long, but he sits there for an hour pausing it, saying, okay, here's what's happening here, here's what he's doing here. And that's far more, I found that video very, apart from the fact that he's recording it at something like midnight, so he's tired, it's clearly not the right time of day for him to be recording it, and he's got like paint opening, and he's going like, okay, so this value is 0.16, remember that, and like, it's quite funny. But I find that more interesting than someone actually performing feats like that, because I'm with you guys. It's sort of like when you see someone destroy a boss or play, like, I don't know, say Breath of the Wild. I've seen people play Breath of the Wild where they literally just run for Ganon. They don't pick up any equipment other than the equipment that's there, and so they're fighting him, really hard boss with not a lot of good equipment, and they have to be skillful. That's different to I'm gonna glitch through this rock so the credits play, and that means the game is finished.
Count? You just found an exploit in the game. You didn't play the game.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not really
still
skill.
It requires skill to perform glitches,
Right.
But I'm not sure if I'm into watching that as much as I am to watching people perform skill to perform the game.
I think it's more interesting when you see someone who has skill in using the game mechanics. That's why, like, when you see really good people, like Dark Souls, for example, like, when you see people that are just really fucking good at just timing the dodges at the right moment, using the right weapons, it's just really interesting. Like, I wish, back in the day, if I had the stuff like YouTube and video recording stuff like that for stuff like Resident Evil 2, like on PlayStation 1, I'd have been doing it, because I remember I got so good at particularly Scenario A with either Claire or Leon that I could beat Scenario A in 56 minutes, I think it was. I remember I'd worked out exactly where everything was. I only ever fought an enemy when I had to, because I got so good at dodging out of the way of all the undead. This is before they had like the dodge mechanic in 3. And like, I was like, oh man, I wish I had like recorded it back in the day, because I play it now and I'm not nowhere near as good anymore. It takes me like 3 or 4 hours to just do Scenario A, because I'm just not used to it. But stuff like that's more interesting than, I just found an exploit and the boss is dead.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something to say about survival horror games, but I feel like they're less able to be sequence broken, so quite often the speedruns of those do tend to not include glitches. Although I was watching the Resident Evil Code Veronica X playthrough from this year's Summer Games Done Quick, which is, at the time of recording, is pretty much just finished or is finishing.
Okay.
And that run was really good, and they did use a glitch, but it was kind of they couldn't actually skip through any parts of the game. It was just a glitch that kind of gave them infinite like explosive arrows or something like that, which, I mean, it's still annoying, but I mean, I've seen people complete these games with knives, so to be fair, I've seen people with skill.
Like, I've seen people do that, and it's mental.
Yeah, but the knife in Code Veronica was actually useful, so I can see them doing that.
It was the most powerful knife, they were saying, or because Carcinogen, one of my favorite speedrunners, was on the couch, so he was explaining the whole thing, which makes it a hell of a lot better for me to watch every time. Yeah, and he was saying that the knife is the strongest one in all of the Resident Evils, because apparently all of the other ones, it hits them once and that's a contact, but apparently every frame that they're hitting the enemy in Code Veronica X counts as a knife hit. So
that's right. Yeah, because I remember, I've got memories flowing back now of playing the one on the PlayStation 2 and playing like that game's version of Mercenaries mode, which wasn't as good as Mercenaries from 3. But I remember playing, because you play as Albert Wesker, and you're like, come on, I can play as Wesker. He's only got a knife. What?
Yeah.
Oh, and you have to fight. You have to fight. Is it Alexia? Yeah, you have to fight Alexia right at the end. With Insta, when she can move around and walk. You're like, I have to. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no. I think I might have beaten her in the day, but yeah, I remember the knife. Yeah, you're right. The knife was better.
Yeah, it was nice. Like, it was one of the reasons I would go back to almost want to call it Castlevania, Resident Evil. Code Veronica. I don't know why my brain was like Castlevania Dracula X. It's like, that's not what we're talking about.
Why? That's a different X.
Yeah, different X entirely. Not Mega Man X either.
To be fair, there's a big ass
Capcom.
castle on the start screen.
Yes, there is.
That's true.
That's
And you do go
probably
to
where
the
it's coming
castle.
from. But it was nice because, like, once you can just shoot a zombie like in the foot, make them fall over, run to their side, like stand like where they're like perpendicular to where you're standing, and just fillet the whole fucking zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, you die.
I was like, oh man, this knife.
That's good. Oh, I've got an urge to play with Resident Evils again now. Shit.
Yeah.
Not
Like-
enough time.
It's like what you were saying about Resident Evil 2 as well. Like, I actually did speedrun it, but I didn't know that it was a thing that people would eventually do in like 10 plus years for fun and profit. Like, if I knew, I would be doing that shit today.
Well, yeah, I used to do it with Banjo-Kazooie, because the first couple of levels, like just, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, Banjo-Kazooie, it's a platform, you collect jigsaws, and you do things in the levels, and these jigsaws appear, and when you get the jigsaw, it plays this animation. And I worked out as a kid that if you stayed in the animal forms, because you can turn into like a magic different form, if you collect the jigsaws in that form, you don't have the animation play. So I would kind of like get these jigsaws to appear on the level, but wouldn't pick them up, transform into the animal and get the animal jigsaw, and then collect all of the other jigsaws and avoid that animation. And I thought, yeah, this is going to get the fastest time ever. And like that was before I even knew speedrunning was a thing.
Yeah, same thing with.
I think it's when you play games a lot, you just kind of go, oh, I can do this quick. You know?
You figure it out. That's what I did with Resident Evil 2. I ended up in my own head mapping out where every single item was, and I'd mapped out the quickest route to getting that item and also picking up this item as well, so I could then on the way back to this area go and do that as well, and do this and do that, and so yeah. I know if I try it now, it'll end in tears. It'll be really bad.
You'd be surprised how much of that knowledge comes back, though. Not all of it, for sure, but some of it will.
Yeah, some of it does. Like,
once you get back into it, you'll be like, oh yeah, this was here and this was that.
Like in Mega Man X, I used to speedrun that before I knew it was speedrunning. I remember telling somebody in my middle school how fast I could beat Mega Man X, and how I was proud of it before you were allowed to be proud of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Jesus,
but like I figured out that if you dash and fire normal shots, the normal shots are more powerful, like just on my own. And I was like, oh man. And it really does help. Like there's a part when you fight an armored armadillo stage, you come down behind this wrecking ball mech thing that tears up the ground in front of you. And it was always like a mash fest trying to kill it before it destroys the section of ceiling that allows you to get the heart tank. But then I found out that you could like dash and fire normal shots, and they're like triple damage each individual shot. So if you dash fire, you can kill it way before it gets to that point. It was comfortable. And I hear them talking about that now when I watch the Mega Man X2 speed run. Like that was a thing they picked up on too, and they run with it, and that's how they do straight buster playthroughs of the games. And it's like, man, I used to be one of these people, but they grew up in a time when it was cool to do it. You know,
it's not fair.
It's not fair. Like the one thing I'm actually good at, I went stale a decade before it became stylish.
Oh, man. Yeah, no,
dude, you have to go back. You can still be, the guy.
I can be the guy. I mean,
you could still be the guy.
I could be the guy. Maybe one day. Maybe if I ever leave this factory job and actually have that kind of disposable time. It's really a frightening thing, isn't it? Like the lack of time.
No. Sit on that segue. I've got one more thing to talk about. Keep it hot. We're coming back to it.
Keep it on the back burner.
Keep it on fire.
I wanted to mention, my favorite thing to do on this podcast, Chris, is to mention to you bizarre and strange forms of performance art on YouTube. Well, I've got a new one for you guys.
Am I in the wrong podcast? What the fuck am I?
Yeah, right. What? Okay, go ahead.
Is the heat?
Well,
is it the heat? Is it getting to me? Is this
the
happening?
lasagna cat and
oh god.
All those other kind of, like I introduced you to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared and things like that.
Yeah.
I've got a new one. basically, I'll link in the description below to this person's channel, and I'll also link to the video that I discovered this channel through. It's again, it's by Nick Nocturne from Nightmind channel. Basically, have you guys ever heard of a guy called Seventybroad?
No.
No.
Okay. Seventybroad. Basically, it's kind of like this this strange mix of drama and real life. Essentially, the premise is that this guy, he uploaded some videos, and he basically said, "I killed someone. The body is hidden. You won't find it." And he's kind of bragging about killing someone.
What?
And everyone is going, okay, this is clearly, one of these kind of like drama things where someone's kind of uploading it, pretending it's real.
Yeah.
But they're kind of putting on a show or whatever. And then he breaks character and he says, okay, I have to admit, you guys, I didn't kill anyone, but now I'm having trouble like with apparently the gun he used in one of the videos is a starting pistol and you need like a license for it, and apparently he didn't have the license and someone shopped him to the police. So he's saying like, the police are at my door, I can't make any more of these videos because, it's affecting my college and stuff. And so people thought, oh, wait a minute, he was playing a game, but now this is real life. And then it takes this weird fucking trip where like this guy, he gets chucked out of his university course, so he has to leave his uni digs and like live in his car, and then he's live streaming in his car, and this guy is like legit dedicated to this premise, because as far as Nick Nocturne can tell, it is a premise, it is fiction, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like hyperfiction where it's happening in this way where the media that it's being used to tell this story is kind of like makes it feel like it is real. And this guy's doing live streams. He did like 10 or 12 live streams from his car, like at nighttime, right? And then someone mugs him during one of the videos, and then like the people who mugged him are like blackmailing him, and it's this whole plot. It's kind of like the thing that gives it away, the thing that Nick thinks gives it away, is that it's kind of like structured in arcs. So there are kind of like these playlists on the channel, and it's like George gets into trouble because the character's name is George. George gets into trouble with some muggers, and he gets blackmailed. That's like the description on the playlist.
Yeah.
So that, amongst several other clues, kind of lends to the fact that it's not real, but it's just such a bizarre head trip. I can't help but recommend it because I kind of fell down this rabbit hole with this week. I watched Nick's video, and then I watched quite a few of the Seventybroad videos, and I really like. I know it can get infuriating sometimes. I'm always recommending it, but I really like these weird, subversive, pretending to be real,
alternate reality kind of videos.
Yeah. Many people, I think, when you Google Seventybroad, one of the things that comes up is Reddit's ARG board. So they're alternate reality games. I'm looking at it right now. So, that is what it is. I kind of like these, although I don't like the ones that are actual games where people have to kind of like put the plot together and find where the treasure is buried or whatever, those kind of things, because I feel like those are a bit contrived. But the ones that are pretending to be real life, and
well, it's interesting watching people getting fooled by them as well. They're people that really believe.
Yeah. Apparently, because quite a few people thought that it was fake. And then this kind of where he pretended to break character, that kind of lulled a lot of people in, like going, "Oh wait, shit, this is real." And he was playing before, but he isn't now. So,
well, anyway. People are easily fooled by that. I was watching I think it was a video on the American remake of REC, like Rec, by Your Movie Sucks, YourMovieSucks.org, and it was Quarantine. It was basically saying it's a piece of shit. And
I've seen it.
You will know the bit I'm going to bring up as well. Like you see like the commercials on TV for like the latest horror film. You've got people coming out going, "It was so scary. I've never been so scared in my life." Yeah. And it's just like The Lady in Black, which just isn't scary, or something where it's just not scary. And the people interviewing this one woman, I think she might be American, and she's just like, "Well, these things happen, right? Because didn't that happen in an apartment block like a couple of weeks ago?" No, there's no such thing as rage virus. It's no. And she's like, "No, but these things happen. Like, no, what? no, it's a movie. it's no, oh honey, no, it's a movie. Like, it's not real. There's not zombie viruses in the world. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, people can get fooled by shit like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if people like really believed that this guy was in trouble. So,
Right.
Yeah.
which is I can see what that is interesting. It's just like stuff that can even make you question, like, is this really a thing, or is he just having a run of bad luck?
That's also a problem, though. Like, when people get better and better and better at the ARGs on YouTube or wherever they upload them, especially if they upload them somewhere else, somewhere deeper, people start to take everything as if it's not real. You know, even if they were to watch like a newscast, oh, that's not real because this. And it's like, well, when do you accept that anything is actually real? It starts to warp the mind of the viewer, I think.
Yes.
As long as you have like a good anchor, you're fine. But like you said, that lady was like, oh, didn't this happen in the apartment block? And I made her English, even though she said she was American, and I'm sorry
It's the
for
Queen.
That's fine.
that.
She was
Queen
there.
saw the movie, and she was like, I heard about this happening a little while ago. Oh,
It
man.
happened in America. Like, oh no, she's got senile. Put her down. She's infected with the zombie virus. Get down, Mr.
man.
President. Just gun the Queen down. That's the element image of the American Secret Service gunning the Queen down because she's infected with the rage virus.
Oh, that's a picture that I'm happy I have in my head.
Sending the corgis flying as well.
Oh no! The corgis,
she's like,
the corgis
flies
don't
back.
have disregard for human life, so
Right.
they're okay. They can live.
They're okay.
They're okay.
They're okay.
Okay, crazy state.
Well,
We just
That's a pretty
accurately
scary-
summed up my Facebook feed.
Oh.
Pictures of doggos and anti-Queen messages.
Isn't it weird how like memes have actually changed our vocabulary to
I
call
think
them
because-
doggos and puppers?
Yeah, I've been calling them puppers in real life, and it's a bit disturbing.
Yeah,
You just stop. You're like, wait, well, why am I doing this? What am I doing?
right.
I've made a huge
Like,
mistake.
I'm a strong believer in I think, therefore I am, as sort of like an identity of the soul. But at the same time, there's so many things that manipulate my brain that I catch things doing, and it's like I have to will myself to change my mind again back to where I would have to say, okay, this is a dog and this is a puppy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's puppy. Come on, brain.
Yeah, right? So, doggos and puppers. And like when you talk to full grown dogs that are just small as puppers forever, like they just never grow up.
You know what, I think the best,
body
the
shaming.
best-
Isn't it?
the best time to stop using words like that is when official like companies and stuff use it on their social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's not
So-
fun anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
They killed it. Immediately kill it. It's
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
like one exception though is Arby's. I don't think you guys have Arby's in England, right? A fast food restaurant.
no, we don't.
featuring
But I
roast beef.
think I know the Twitter account you're going to mention.
That's not Twitter. Well, it might be Twitter. It's also on Facebook. That's where I first saw it, where they just do video game character stuff with Arby's
Oh, okay.
packaging.
Yeah, in our
Um,
country, Domino's does it.
Oh, Domino's does that?
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been doing ones for Crash. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy that just came out.
Yes. Insane Trilogy.
And they
yes.
Oh.
did Mario Kart earlier this year as well.
Yeah. Like, I remember the first one that I saw. I don't remember what it was, but I remember the first one that I saw, and I was like, huh. Wow, Arby's. Way to go.
It's-
No, I think it was a
It's-
Metroid.
Well, it's really cynical in terms of Domino's over here because its target audience, they're going for like students, so it's just like extra patronizing.
Oh. Well,
guys, you're cool.
well.
Yeah, it's like
Fuck you.
we know that teenagers are going to buy our pizza, so yeah, Crash Bandicoot, you guys,
Best
Mario
game, huh?
Kart.
I liked playing it back on my MSX. What is that? The machine?
Shit.
My Nintendo PlayStation. My Nintendo PlayCube.
The PlayCube X. No, the thing is with Arby's though, it's like, and I have a real problem accepting it because they haven't done anything wrong, but I just inherently, instinctively hate it. But like they just show a picture, and like I said, it was a Metroid from the game Metroid, just like put together using the red and the white and the cardboard color texture that they have on their packaging. No words, like bam, that's it, and then just upload that on Facebook, and I was like.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean they're just being cool about it, and it blows me away that they're doing that, and they've been doing that for about a year now, and like the most recent one was Solid Snake, right? on it was on like the cardboard. It wasn't like they didn't do anything with the cardboard itself. They did it with the Arby's sauce or ketchup or whatever the hell they used the sauce, whatever sauce it was. But it looked like the actual Metal Gear Solid artist's art for Solid Snake.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks really good. And
Cool.
and I just keep thinking, damn, Arby's, like, are you hitting that sweet spot right now? Like, you actually have effective advertising that's not pretentious or like pushy or anything. Like, they don't mention anything. They don't mention, hey, you can get roast beef 5 for $10 or whatever. They just have a picture and they just upload it and it fucking works and it scares the shit out of me. It's like
that's a bit less gratuitous than the Domino's ones, because I've got one of those up now and it says. It's like literally the box art, but they've kind of, it's a pizza delivery person on the front, and it says "The Legend of Pizza: Breath of the Garlic."
yeah, I've seen that one.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretentious.
Yeah, it's like with whereas Arby's, like you're saying, like they did the thing with the Metroid. Like, there's not many, because when was the last time there was a fucking Metroid game? Like, not many people really,
Yeah,
it's not a massive game.
It's a bit
either.
more obscure or archaic nowadays.
Yeah, they did
like,
one. They did Howl's Moving Castle in the entire, like the entire fucking castle with the cardboard stuff. Now, I've never seen Howl's Moving Castle. I had to ask a friend of mine what the hell that was, but it's big. It's there, the whole thing, like a House of Cards level of construction.
Wow,
and it was
cool.
just amazing. I was like, God damn it, guys! Like, I loved you guys before because they had mozzarella sticks and those are the best. But like, you guys are really, really not that bad after all. Maybe I should.
Oh, incidentally, Chris, do yourself a favor. Order some Arby's and watch Howl's Moving Castle, because it's quite a lovely movie.
Yeah.
If you like those, have you seen Spirited Away or
No.
any of the Ghibli movies? You haven't seen any Ghibli movies?
Is Princess Mononoke one of those?
Yes.
Then yes, I've seen that one, and I love that movie.
Okay, well, yeah, pretty much. You're signing up for a good time when you watch a Ghibli movie, but I really liked Howl's Moving Castle. So.
Signing up for a good time. Oh, where do I sign up? Is there a good time to be had here? I want to sign up for this. I don't want to miss it. I'm not making fun. I just think I love how people talk, and I like to point out like how that would apply in a real life situation. It's funny to me.
He's taking the piss out of you, Tom.
Is that what that is? I'm not trying to. I don't know what that means.
No.
I have no idea what that means. You can keep your piss, Tom.
Just keep it to yourself.
I appreciate it.
Britain's a strange
You can
place.
put that wherever you like, but I don't need to take it from you.
Hey man, I'm gonna walk. I've got my clipboard for a good time here. I'm gonna walk off. You have not signed up. I'm sorry.
No! But
I
you're
shall bid
way
you good
over
day, sir.
there. Dude, can I like digitally sign with a PIN code or something? Oh, man. I wanted a good time. But all we have is this galaxy of terror.
Hey.
Yeah. I did it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Matt, you're responsible for this.
Start
Start us off.
To be fair, like I did pick it at random just because I was intended to watch it, and I thought, hey, well, why not? And then I regretted my decision. I regret my decision. I made a huge
I
mistake.
think I can see why you wanted to see it.
It's got really cool
Worm sex,
ideas.
that's why.
Worm sex.
It's got. It's just.
Well, what I
I'll say
was
one
going to
thing,
say. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that.
Go on.
I'm going to completely steal your thunder. That I was reading about the links between, because I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but this movie is very much inspired by Alien.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that's why you kind of heard of it, because apparently James Cameron worked on this.
He did.
What?
He was the. He was the. I have the title. He was the productions designer and second unit director.
And Wormluber.
Yes, and that's why all the.
He loves the worm.
Oh, he likes the worm.
Yes.
That's why the set design is actually pretty decent, and also
Yeah.
the interior of the ship they go to, on the planet with all the dead people.
Yeah.
It looks very even their ship actually, the corridors look very similar to the corridors of the the Hadley's Hope in Aliens. Just like very similar in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can, and that's why visually a lot of the visuals look pretty good. Like some of the map paintings are really, really
especially
good.
that worm, right?
Yeah, Mom's like, so good.
The second I saw that growing, I was like, oh, I know what scene this is now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely get on into the behind the scenes stuff,
right,
involving that.
Because when it comes to worm sex, it's best to take it slow.
Oh god. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, it was a very interesting scene to watch, and in the original cuts, it was a lot longer and a lot more explicit.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is that it wasn't even in the original script. So Roger Corman put it in.
Someone's like, we need tits now. How do we get this to work?
Thing is, that's pretty much why it's in the movie.
Because
he promised the investors that there would be tits in a sex scene. And he's like, this is great, I'll just write in a scene where she gets raped by a worm. Like, no, Roger.
Why was that your plan A, you fucking weirdo?
It's like, there's two characters that are in a relationship.
Yeah,
sake.
could you just do that instead?
Yeah, like in the original script, I think she just gets eaten. Like, that's horrifying enough anyway, being slowly eaten by a worm. That's scary, but no, let's just have her raped.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into the more horrible details of that later. But yeah, I'm so sorry. It's film that I've known about for a while. And I heard about the concept, and I really like the idea behind it. Because I think it's on paper, it's got a really, really cool idea. It's got a good idea behind it. You know, the whole literal a planet that
I have to say,
at least you think,
like, which idea of the many ideas?
not the worms.
Yeah.
The idea that there's a structure or even a planet that that basically manifests your deepest, darkest fears as a real entity that gives life to them, and essentially forces you to face them. And that's one of the more interesting things in the movie that's just handled really weird.
Yeah, poorly. I think we can use the word poorly.
But I mean, it's positives it's got. Some of the sets design is, like we said, really good. It looks the part. There's some really good character actors in it. We've got a really, really young, baby-faced Robert Englund.
I know, it's so weird looking at him.
Yeah, he looked like a little kid. And I do think that this was before. When wasn't Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, it must have been before.
Let me see. Strange enough, it's not his. Oh wait, Gangster Terror is 81, and Nightmare on Elm Street was 3 years later. So this was before.
Yeah.
Way before. This is 3 years before Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's really obviously, it's always weird to see him without the Freddy Krueger makeup on because he's just so synonymous with it.
Yeah.
But it was also because he was obviously playing a completely different character, but just seeing him so young. He looked like a little boy.
He was just so kind of like, there's something about him that was just so like optimistic and bright. I mean, even when without getting into the plot, you know, when that guy socks him around the back of the head, and like a couple of minutes later he comes in and he goes, "Oh, someone got me down behind the lab," and he's like he doesn't think it's that guy once, like not even once.
Who was like standing behind him and then disappeared.
Yeah.
He's like, gee willikers, what's going on? He does also have the coolest name in the whole film. He's called Ranger. Like, that's a fucking badass name.
Yeah.
Might was called Marigold. But some of the cast
I
is
didn't
good.
really kind of keep track of the names at all. I had problems with the names.
I remembered, obviously, his name, because Ranger's isn't a badass name. The main character, because he's the main character, is Cabren. And Core, and I think the other one was the dick, who seemed to like have like a broken leg or something. It was Balon
yeah.
or something. Balon,
I thought it was distinctly Tolkien-esque. Like, for some reason, everyone was saying Balon. I was thinking of like dwarves and shit.
Balon.
It's
got a decent cast. So. But I mean, and also we've got a special guest appearance by Sarah Palmer, which links up to Twin Peaks.
Now, Chris, you just started watching Twin Peaks, haven't you? Well,
yes.
Pretty much through season 1.
I have to watch the last episode of season 1. I haven't done that yet.
Excellent. Soon you will be caught up, and then you can listen to our sidecast.
Yeah. Well, could I?
Well,
I mean, isn't your sidecast more like season 3 stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. But eventually, you will watch all of it.
Yeah.
If you catch up in time, you can be in the finale. My special guest appearance. I'll be in the final episode when we do that. But,
Special guest appearance of me. That sounds fun.
Yeah, no, I'm just very excited for you. But at least you know now who Sarah Palmer is.
Yeah,
so.
I do know who Sarah Palmer is, and it's like, I don't know. She's I thought, do we talk about Twin Peaks right now? Let's not talk about Twin Peaks right now. Let's just get back to Galaxy of Terror. I just thought Twin Peaks is pretty good though so far. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm just really glad you're enjoying it. I'm really glad you're enjoying it because it's fucking good.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm enjoying it. It's okay.
It's going to get really good soon, and it's going to go into a bit of a lull, but then it improves again towards the end. But obviously, we won't say any more about spoiling. But
that's another thing too. I'm really glad that I've gone like 30, almost 30 years, 20 years, something like that, without having anything spoiled at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I'd like to keep that sacred for our listeners.
Yes, good. Because there's people that might be watching the new series that have never watched the original, because that happens, which is weird.
Yeah,
people just hop onto seasons like when it's already like partway through a series. Like you look at like the viewing figures and stuff like Game of Thrones sometimes, and it's like midway through a season, all of a sudden like the episode before, or even the first episode of that season's got like 15 million viewers, and then a random episode midway through has got like 20. People just drop in and drop off sometimes. It's weird.
Yeah, it is really strange.
Yeah, we won't get into it in too much detail, but the most recent season of Doctor Who, I only started watching it because they announced someone was coming back.
Yes.
And it was a massive spoiler, and it would have been great to have watched it without knowing that he was coming back. But in the same breath, him coming back was the only reason that I tuned into this latest season, because I'd completely given up on the show. So
I've heard bad things.
They're changing showrunner now, so it should be good. It should at least be better.
Be more watchable.
Incidentally, I must link it in the description below. And it's kind of weird because you guys were talking about Dark Souls earlier on. There's this guy I discovered recently on YouTube called H Bomber Guy, who's really funny, and he did I think an hour and a half episode about how brilliant Dark Souls is and how great Bloodborne is. That was one of the key reasons I was talking to you guys about getting back into it, or trying to get back into it, because his video was just, he was just so enthusiastic the whole time. Anyway, he also did a brilliant hour and a half long episode which was about why Sherlock sucks, the BBC show, and
yes.
It does, spoilers. And as someone who really enjoyed the first couple of seasons, it's been hard to admit that, but yeah, it does suck. And he went into the reasons why, because the writer behind that is Stephen Moffat, who also has been the showrunner for Doctor Who for the past, 3, 4, 5 seasons.
A long time.
Yes, and he's leaving, so that's why I say hopefully it will be much better from now on. But yeah, we won't get into that. Just suffice to say, his videos are good. I'll link them below.
Yeah, let's get back to this alien fan fiction that Matt loves so
Anything
much.
but talk about this movie.
Oh yeah, so we also get Sid Haig, who has 2 lines of dialogue in the whole movie.
Yeah,
the crystals.
When I saw him appear, the first thing I did was I turned to my wife and I said, "Well, shit the bed." And, she had no idea what I was talking about. So,
I mean, there's one thing the movie does. It has Robert Englund and Sid Haig in it, and it's always nice to see them crop up in anything, because they make a lot of schlock, the two of them. Especially Sid Haig in particular makes a lot of shit, but they're very serviceable and very solid actors, and it's always nice to see them turn up in things, because I just like them both.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got our cast of characters, and there's like it's just weird. One of my favourite things is that the captain, I think Sarah Palmer, I'm just gonna call her Sarah Palmer.
No, that's her name now.
Yeah, I mean, she flies the ship, even though no one's locked in at one point, and then
Right.
she fucks off and then she just fucks off and plays video games for the rest of the movie. So I can dig that.
I really like that, actually. I mean, I didn't enjoy it, but it's like she gets into the ship, nobody's ready to take off, she takes off anyway, slams the button, goes into space, right over to the planet, then she tries to land the ship manually, fails, gives up, well, we're all dead, right? Until someone's like, what about the landing jets? She's like, oh yeah, landing jets, lands the ship. Then she's like, well, I did that for you. Everything else is up to you. And she just fucks off. And I was like, yes.
Have fun, dickhead. I've seen these movies. I ain't going outside.
That was actually a lot of fun.
Myself.
Yeah, also very heartening when, they're talking about her and they're saying, like, oh yeah, she was the only survivor of her previous, mission.
Yeah.
I fucking wonder why.
She probably left everyone behind.
I suppose we should talk about the setup, as bare as it is. Film opens with just on a pretty much looks like the planet from Alien. It looks like LV-426. It's all desolate and very uninhabitable and just horrible.
I will say that this whole movie felt to me a bit like Baby's first Alien.
Yeah, it's like someone who saw Alien was like, I want to make a movie that looks like it.
Yeah,
and that's all they wanted to do.
Yeah, and it does kind of look like it in some good ways, but the problem is they just skip over all of the build.
Yeah,
like, it's weird.
You're saying you have that minute opening, and that's kind of good, and then it cuts to the
master.
Well, but even before that, it has that opening scene where that person is just terrified in a corridor for some reason, and then cuts and cuts and cuts.
Yeah, it's a really strangely edited film. There's a lot of stuff later on where you'll see one character, like the main character, walking through a corridor, and then all of a sudden it goes to, he's like midway through the corridor, and it cuts to the next scene. It just cuts, and he's like walking into a room. It's just so, and there's a lot of giant, like real, absolutely just juggled editing. That's all thrown up in the air and just seeing what sticks. It's like, and this angle, then this angle.
There was one sequence I really liked, and that was the one where Robert Englund was running down the corridor holding his gun up to his chin. Do you remember that shot?
Yeah, that's...
that was really fun.
Yeah, Robert Englund's like one of the best things in the movie. I will say that it's not a good film. It's before we even get into the story, actually, I just want to say it's not a good movie. It's a good movie it's a frustrating movie. But I will say more of my thoughts once we discuss that far. But it's a frustrating film. I will just warn people of that if they haven't seen it. There's a desolate planet. We see lots of dead bodies and a man who's running around looking absolutely terrified. Kind of looked a bit like Jeffrey Combs. If anyone knows, is it Jeffrey Combs? Oh, I'm sure it's Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator.
Quickly to the Oracle.
Jeffrey Combs, actor, yes. Jeffrey Combs. No, wait, no, not you. Is it you? Maybe it is. What?
The search comes up as Jeffrey Combs Star Trek.
Yes. That's it. Jeffrey Combs, yes, he was in Reanimator, The Frighteners. He's one of the best things in The Frighteners, actually.
Yeah.
He
looked
very much like him, which confused me for a second. I actually thought it was him. So we see a man who's very, very scared, and then dies by something off screen. But even his death is just really strangely edited, where you just sort of see the impact of him being thrown against the wall, you think.
Yeah. It's like the director is like, okay, less is more is really good. Like let them guess at what killed that guy. So we're going to not show anything, not even the tail end of something that might have been horrible. Just cut away immediately and then go to like cyber chess, which sucks.
Yeah. I am the master.
Yeah.
I've got I just have red
face
in my face, just because it serves no purpose, only to act towards the twist later in the movie.
Yeah. Now,
I'm playing space chess.
Like,
I don't know why.
With this being like Baby's first Alien, I immediately paralleled the Master with Mother from Alien. Like that was the thing that gave orders or whatever. But then, like, the Master tells the old guy to go check out the pyramid place where people died at. That's really better than what the movie gives you. Like, that little paraphrase right there. And then he goes back to playing cyber chess with Toothless Woman, and then it cuts away to a ship, I think, right? That's when they're, like, boarding the ship, like, ready to go save some people.
Yeah, this is introduction to our main characters. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But it's the way, it's like, it's almost like an old, thinking back, it's like an old video game intro, and it's like, oh, something happens, get in the ship and fly away, go and do the thing.
Release all
Zig.
Zig.
He's like, Commander, go to this planet. Yes, sir. Like, do you want to maybe get a debriefing as to what they were doing there? What did you... And then they, obviously, like you said, Sarah Palmer just goes, I'm going to fly, but no one's No one's strapped in. I'm strapped in. It doesn't fucking matter.
I'm the only survivor.
Here, it's fine. Whoosh. I've got PTSD, I think, which makes me a really, really bad pick to fly this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they crash, and then there's never that moment where you have a moment like most films would have them. Would show the person dying at the beginning. That's fine. That's classic horror 101. Even though it's poorly constructed, that's classic. You see a man get killed. What did he get killed by? Oh, there's the mystery. And then it would something like this. I would think would cut to them already in transit, and it would be them in space, and then they would be in the room being debriefed. Like, this is what we're doing. We've lost contact with LV-426. Blah 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 blah.
Yes, this is what we call exposition, or even just setting the scene. And I feel like this movie tries so hard to be kind of like edgy and cool and straight at it that it skips that for the audience, so the audience feels kind of like just left adrift.
Yeah, because you've got this confusing moment of, oh well, she's the captain, but then there's a commander who they answer to as well. But then there's I think Balaam was like the head of security, but it's like you're not even sure of that, but he seems to be one that's giving orders. But then others are giving orders as well.
Yeah, everyone is the captain.
Yeah, it's a strange, it's a really strangely made film. It's just a lot of it's really confusing. Like a lot of the deaths happen because characters are just stupid.
Yeah.
Well, the first one in particular. Most of them.
He was just really scared, and he ran away a lot.
You mean Lieutenant Chicken Shit? He's just like running around, like wetting himself because like it's a bit kind of dark in the corridor.
Yeah, it's a little dark kind of.
And there's one thing, like, and again, that's why I say it's such a frustrating movie. Is that it's like they have their own. It's like I assume the master is like this, a god to them, almost like a ruler, and they have like they seem to do that thing with their fists when they come. Like one of them looks scared, so Sid Haig turns around to him and he like clenches his fist and then opens it, and puts it in his shoulder. I'm like, I want to know more about this. Is this like a religion for them? What is this? But they never get anywhere close to it, and you only have like these. You don't even get like hints at this. You just see them do things with their hands, and I assume this is like a. Because they even do it like at one point. Sid Haig's trying to compose himself, and he does his hand, and he does a thing. You're like, what is this? Because first of all, I thought he was like doing like a rock on, like move out,
let's go, brother.
Yeah, I'm like, just go, dude. It's very. I found it even when thinking back, it's a very frustrating movie. But yeah, so getting ahead again. So they crash, immediately head out. While Robert Englund stays behind as a shipmate. I thought he was an engineer, but later on we see him and one of the other characters complete an autopsy on something.
Yeah, like he's the everyman. He's the handyman. He's the medic man. He's every man.
Yeah. What I love is because they find one of the corpses on the old ship or station, but then they take one back. But they do that weird thing of they have like the laser rifles, and every body they see, they just like spontaneously combust.
Yes, you know what? I kind of liked that in a way because their methodical determination to set fire to everything once it was dead, sometimes not even proven dead.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like thinking,
well, at least it can't come back.
Yeah. And I was thinking like maybe that's something with their religion, because like, there's one moment where they're all standing around, like one of them just died, and Balin just incinerates them, and they're just all like okay with this. It's like, is this like another again? Like, I want to know more. Like, tell us more about this world instead of just going spooky shit. But
I actually kind of like that also because one, like what Tom said, at least we know it's dead, right? Yeah. But also like because so many movies like takes the diseased corpse or the plagued corpse or the infected corpse back onto the ship, where the ship is going to be like the next playground for whatever bug, demon, parasite, whatever is going to kill everybody. But this movie is like, nope, I've seen that movie before. It was called Alien, and I'm going to kill everything that moves.
It's great because it's they're like, well, guys, we're on a weird planet. It's strange. Because they hypothesize that something pulled them down. Like, something weird's going on. So I'm not fucking having that thing laying around.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's what makes it a frustrating movie, because it has really good ideas and it just does it really badly.
Right. It was like I was saying in the Facebook Messenger. It's like the script is just bad.
It's
Like
all
every
over the
written
place.
word that someone had to say in front of a camera was a bad idea.
I think there's like one line of dialogue I really liked, which is later on in the movie when it's the main character who
Which one's
And
the
look,
main
Alex-
character?
Cabren, the one with the
Cabren?
moustache.
Yeah.
The one
Cabren,
who's
yeah,
basically alive at the end.
It was like budget
Yes.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, I was thinking Tom Selleck the whole time.
I mean, it's strange enough that two of the best actors in the movie are the two that survive at the end.
Right.
But he's got a good line. He's got one of the better lines in the film is when, because they're all starting to freak out at this point, and she says, "Aren't you afraid of anything?" He says, "I'm too scared to be afraid." And I'm like, that's a cool line because I could see it being in a better movie that would be even better. Like, that'd be
Yeah.
a really good line. Which does, and it's a good line because it explains why he's not seen anything. It's almost like he's too scared. He's too scared to be afraid of one particular thing.
I guess so, yeah,
So-
because that does
But- and
sort
I
of
kinda
play
like that.
into the very end of the movie, which was just like, what are we doing with this movie? I'm at the end and I'm still lost.
The end is like the whole movie. I know we're skipping ahead, but the end is just like the movie and frustrating because there's that 15-minute build-up where it starts to get really good again. And you're like, okay, this is getting quite interesting. Like they're in the pyramid and it's weird shit, and they figure out what's going on, and you're like, cool, what's going on? And then it just, we'll get to the ending. It's like we ran out of money. Red, here's a red thing. What do I do now? Pyramid, light up, credits.
Yeah.
But so I mean, the movie's a jumbled mess, but
Yeah.
essentially, the crew begin to be systematically picked off and killed by various different nasties, which is one of the more creative things that all the creatures were different and all the ways they die are different.
Yeah, at least that was kind of cool. Like, I mean, one thing I have to give it is at least the practical effects, while they aren't like the best, but for the time, they were effective. You believe the tentacles were tentacles. You believe that there was a demon thing in the darkness with the glowing eyes.
That's one of the better effects. One of the better effects is involving the demons. Because it's like the guy's afraid of his own shadow because his shadow starts to like warp into something.
Right.
And then as he turns around, it just changes back, and it's like one of the best shots in the movie.
Right.
And they ruin it by going, big demon!
I thought it was like a space cat, right? Like the sounds were like meow sounds, and
actually,
it looked like a kind of
before-
hairless cat.
Yeah, before we actually get into any more of the plot, I have to say one of the things that continually took me out of the movie was the sound design.
Yeah, it's
I
awful.
don't know who was in fucking charge of this, because some of the effect, like the ambience on the planet, that's fine. That's easy.
Are you about to get onto the gloopy sound effects?
Like
Yeah.
you mean the stuff I can just Google and get? Like, it's like public domain. It doesn't
Yeah,
cost anything.
I've heard that shit in like Popeye cartoons. Like, no joke.
It's the strangest thing. Like, it continually took me out because you're like building up. It's like, okay, the atmosphere's starting to build a bit. The guy's going into that weird, it's that strange room that he starts to descend into. It looks so bizarre. That seemingly has like no purpose, and then
They didn't
the things
go
come
anywhere.
He did a poetry and then he climbed down the hole.
He did a poetry.
Yeah.
I mean, he starts to freak out because he's saying, "Oh, I'm too old," and
Yeah.
I'm a liability, and then he gets killed by giant leeches. So I think it's supposed to symbolise that he was afraid that because he was a liability, he thought he was a liability, so it's almost like he was leeching off of them.
Oh.
Don't
then-
do that, man. Don't do that. Don't make it seem like it might have been a smart movie. Stop
They
it.
tried, but they tried. That's the thing. But then it's like it's building up, and there's these weird things coming out and attacking him, and then it like suddenly you just get
Yeah,
and
that kind
what
of
the
like
fuck is that?
syrupy, gloopy sound effect.
Yeah,
It's like
the
that's the
Popeye
noise you
ate a
get in
spinach sound
Gump.
effect.
It's like the type of noise you'd expect. Like I'm trying to think of is it Funhouse, like the kids game show back in the 90s on BBC, and you have like the gunge and they
Yeah,
drop
anything
gunge
with
and it make,
gunge.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it made like the really over the top cartoony sound, and it's like this dark, grimy, supposed to be this grimy horror film, psychological, blah 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 blah, and then you just get really cartoony sound effects.
Yeah.
And it what was annoying is that it wasn't even consistent. Like sometimes you get like a death and it would just be horrible. And it'd be like, that's
Yeah.
gross. And then others you get like, aha, and that there's a really one of the better deaths right at the end when the woman gets her head crushed.
Yummy.
Because she's afraid of
Yeah.
enclosed spaces. so she literally gets crushed. And you're like, oh, that's gross. And then it makes the cartoon
The sound came up again. Yeah, I remember
You're
it.
like, oh, I was like, fuck.
It came up again, and I was like, oh, really?
Like, you had it. That was like a cool idea. And like, God, come on. But yeah, so I think it's a jumper. So we're gonna whisper it. Basically, they realize they're on a planet that's bad, but they don't leave. They keep going, and they go to a weird, creepy pyramid.
Yeah, there's kind of a throwaway line about that. They say, oh yeah, even if we could get off because the thing's sucking us down, how would you do it? So they kind of imply that basically there's no way to leave.
And like, try. I mean, it'd be a better argument if they just said, we can't leave, the captain is just playing Nintendo. she's just having PTSD and just playing a video game where she shoots down things. She's like, I've got to play the game with a high school. And it's almost like the actress is just like, fuck it, I don't want to be in this film anymore. She just picks up like a abnormally sized weapon. And then
yeah, that's the thing with that scene is like she's using a mounted turret to shoot a whatever in space, and then she's like, "Oh no, that's not enough. Let me get this comparatively smaller gun than a mounted turret on our spaceship and run out the door." But wait, why wait for the door? Let's just start firing now. And then
and Robert Englund just you just watch it on the security monitor, don't you?
Yeah.
And again, like she runs off. And then Rob Englund talks to the cook, who's a little bit dodgy, and it's a little bit heavy-handed and a bit obvious that he's not what he seems to be.
Of course, yeah.
And it's at that first moment where you think that there's something on this planet that wants them to face their own fears. And like, that's a cool idea, but it's handled poorly. Again, like most of the movie. And she runs off with this comically sized weapon. And then Robert Englund comes in and starts talking to the chef. And then something else happens. And all of a sudden you just cut to a security footage of her just setting herself on fire.
Yeah, like she shoots the door with her big plasma tank cannon, and it like sets her on fire somehow. Because there's really no other way for her to be set on fire. There's no other like projectiles in the area, so she just like rebound a blaster shot to herself and then dies.
You're like, what were you expecting?
She wants out of the movie.
She wants out of the movie so bad.
She's like, in 7-8 years, I'm gonna be in Twin Peaks. All right, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
That explains her hair. But so yeah.
Incidentally, we get an origin story for Freddy Krueger. I think. I mean, what is the
Freddy
thing
Krueger is the master.
Well, what is the thing that Robert Englund is most afraid of? It's himself, his mirror reflection.
That was like, you would think watching this now, like you would think, oh, this was clearly after Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's why they've got him fighting an evil version of himself. It's like, what a strange coincidence.
It is, isn't it?
Evil Robert Englund, who's kind of doing the Freddy face.
Yeah.
Again, one of the better moments in the film, because he's the one that realizes that it's like, my biggest fear is the dark elements of myself, and he realizes that, wait, it's fucking real, and then it vanishes because he's one, and then he just kind of gets put to the side for the rest of the movie, which is so strange. But
yeah, because at the end, like, it's Cabren or whatever the hell his name is, and Ranger doesn't actually die. He's just left behind.
No, I was kind of hoping that he's still kind of there somewhere somehow.
He's like, Cabren, hey,
Cabren,
why are the lights on? Hello. Credits just rolling. Hello, Cabren. Oh, fuck you then. End movie.
Fuck you then.
I'll go back to the ship. But yeah, it's basically, the plot is that they're all getting systematically picked off by what they fear the most. So
yeah, really.
I mean, the weakest one is probably the first death of the crew. Actually, is the guy who just gets killed by the giant stop motion cockroach creature.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like a mantis thing. Like
nope.
Yeah, because he's just like freaking out a bit, and
I
that's
can't remember
it.
that character. Literally in my head, he is Lieutenant Chicken Shit. I can't think of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He lands on the planet and immediately starts going, ah!
Yeah, I'm on a scary planet, everybody.
It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it does lead into the film later, because I think that the only time they start to see things, and that's when they begin to die, is when they start to show fear, because most of them at that point are just like, well, this is fucking weird, what the fuck's going on? And they're all okay, except for him, who's just like, oh, why am I here? I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
And then obviously because you got Balon, he's a dick basically, and he's quite headstrong, but even he starts to get a little bit. He only starts to see weird shit when he gets a little bit unhinged. So there's elements like that which I really enjoy, but they all die in sort of creative ways. Like they try to be creative, they're all different.
And one thing I'm unsure of is, again, I can't remember his character name, but Captain Spaulding,
Sid Haig.
Sid Haig. Why was he afraid of the very weapons he uses? Like he said, he lives and he dies. Well, I guess he lives and he dies by them, so he's scared of dying by them.
Maybe. I mean, because he starts to freak out once they shatter. But I don't know what he was expecting, throwing flimsy bits of crystal at a big, massive alien stone door that's closing.
Well,
I don't know what you were expecting.
Obviously, that crystal is supposed to be super strong. It just looks like a plastic ruler or something like that you'd get at school. A protractor?
It's a protractor.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, dual protractors. And, he expected them to be like Thor's hammer Mjolnir, completely indestructible, forged in the density of a dying star, all that kind of stuff. His faith was shaken at that moment.
That's what it is. His faith was shattered.
Oh my.
That is one of the funniest moments in the movies because he looks absolutely distraught when he explodes.
Like, what?
Shit! What the fuck? The lead up to his death is quite. It made me squirm a little bit when the crystal starts to goes into his skin.
Yeah,
that was a good effect. That was a really good effect. I remember that one. That was amazing. I was like, damn. I mean, it looks like he was pushing the crystal into his skin, as far as the acting goes. But when it starts going up his arm, I was like, holy shit, that looks really good.
Really cool. I'm like, oh, that's gross, because it's one of those inherent anxiety-filled fears you always have. When you're cutting any vegetables, meat, anything, and you're always like, oh, what if I accidentally locked my finger off or something?
Yeah,
it's like,
it happens.
That'd be really horrible. And then and you're like, oh no, what if I accidentally slipped and I cut my wrist? You think that you always there's that part of your brain that's like, wouldn't that be horrible? And you're like, shut up, brain. It'd be gross, wouldn't it? Don't do it. Shut up, brain.
What if the knife just went up your veins all by itself? That doesn't make sense, brain.
You're like, brain, stop it. That doesn't make sense. It's creeping me out. but that's a really cool effect. And then he cuts his arm off.
Yeah, he's like, fuck arms. Who needs that shit?
His reaction.
And then his arm kills him. It's like, what?
His reaction's great when he cuts his arm off and he's like, I'm like, what do you mean, your arm's off? Oh, shit. No, I live and die by the crystal. Yeah, his makes the least sense out of everyone. They do, I think the one that's the heaviest, the heavy-handed one is, I hate worms. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, she's next, so we may as well get on to that scene if you like.
Yeah, she clearly loves worms.
Because I was surprised by the woman because they did it. They had it better with the other female member of the crew who just says she's like, I just don't like enclosed spaces. She's like, I've just never liked them. But they drag her death out, and I was really genuinely surprised when she died because I thought she overcame her fear.
Right?
And instead the film's like, no, fuck you. Only one can survive their fear. Like, and it's got to be Robert Englund, okay? But she already did it earlier. Fuck you, brutal death.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the worm.
You have to quit assuming that the movie is anywhere near good. So, when it's like, oh, she died from her claustrophobia, even though she overcame her fear. It's like, well, no, the movie's just bad. It's not. It's not trying to do anything good.
Fair, man? But we'll. Oh god. But
yeah.
So they find Sid Haig's body. I think this is character Sid Haig. I don't know.
Kuhot.
The Crystal Man.
Yes.
They find the Crystal Man dead, and already there are maggots on his severed arm. In a really cool effect, which they did, which James Cameron instantly did by he passed an electrical current through the false arm, and that made the maggots and the worms move. And it's strange enough. Apparently, that was one of the things that people saw behind the scenes. And went, oh yeah, that's good, and that word of mouth got around, and that's why he was given his first directing gig. So
that's the kind of this guy's chip.
Yeah, the one
makes maggots move.
The one thing in the whole movie that makes the movie anywhere near watchable is this one guy. Let's lift him up and just bury the rest.
Yes. So one of the female crew, she sees the worms and she goes, "Oh, I hate worms." And then off camera, in the next scene they leave and the worm just expands into a giant horrible worm. They obviously get split up again because it's a horror movie and they never stay together.
Nope.
Because it's a horror movie. So what with it? And what follows is the worm sex scene.
Yeah,
Yes.
Why was there only one worm? When you think about it, like the arm was covered in maggots, and then like one worm shows up and grows and grows and grows, or is it because she said she hates worms that one worm was like, "Oh, I got this."
The worm's like, "You fucking what?" Right, you're so bad, lads. I've got this. He picks up his pint of bitter and he strolls out. So what follows is a bizarre scene of a woman being
I'm just gonna keep
attacked
laughing
by a
while you
giant worm.
talk. Sorry, I don't hear that kind of accent or style of talk very often here, so I was just like taken by surprise with how different that was. You
and now you just
fucking what?
imagine that worm. You what? I'll fucking have you. Oh, and he falls on her.
I'll
so-
fucking have you.
I'll have you.
For dinner? Like what?
So she is attacked.
Oh no! Unfortunately, we've
on
seen
her
how
own-
these worms have people, and it's not pleasant.
It's not. So let's just be blunt. She is raped to death
Yeah,
by a giant worm.
Basically.
Now, the original. This is a really infamous scene. The original cut of this was much longer. There was more nudity, far more explicit in terms of sexual content. Which does include simulated sexual intercourse. It ended with her moaning provocatively, covered in slime, and she died in the original cut of this scene because she was given an orgasm so intense it killed her. So this went to the MPAA, and they said "fuck you" and put an X rating on it. And they went, "What is this?" No, this is 1981, motherfuckers.
What
no.
is this shit? You bring this
What
shit
is
to
this
me?
shit? I want pictures of Spider-Man. But, oh, fuck.
I have two accents, and one is Jonah Jameson. The other one is Duke Nukem, and to be honest, they're pretty close.
So they had to. That's why that scene, again, like the whole movie, just feels like it was cut to ribbons for time. And they had to absolutely butcher it, just so they could get it past the MPAA without getting an X rating. But the worst thing is like we mentioned, is in the script she's just eaten by it. She just gets swallowed by it, which I think sounds far more terrifying, being swallowed by a giant worm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Roger Corman promised the financiers that there would be tits and a sex scene. So he wrote a woman being raped by a giant worm.
You know, it occurs to me just now that perhaps he didn't have the financier's best interests in mind. Maybe he's like, man, these motherfuckers wanted tits and a sex scene. Well, I'll give them tits and a sex scene. How about this?
How's this? That's not what we wanted. That's horrifying. Yeah, well, how is she going to get it? There's two characters that are in a relationship. They're quite close, right? They're just... No, fuck you.
No,
giant worm.
this one's already done.
Gross.
This scene is done. It's cut. I'm done.
It's done. But fuck you. Give us 1.5 million.
It's such a shame that he had to compromise his artistic vision and
Right.
edit it from an X to an R rating.
He's only the fucking producer as well.
Oh,
But
boy.
yeah, so there's so that scene aside, and then it just.
Do you know what I love best about straight after that scene? They find her, and then they don't even check for pulse. They just set her on fire.
Balin? They look over and go, "That's fucking weird."
Kill it with fire.
Well, Science obviously did sign to her. I ain't fucking letting the eggs burst from that.
Right.
I've seen these
The
movies.
logic is sound. It's just it's refreshing.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's really blunt as well. She's gone. Boom.
Yeah, like nobody's
Gotta
crying.
use his weapons on
Nobody's
something.
like, "Oh, Damia, how could this possibly have happened?" They're just like, "Nope, she knew the risks." Pow.
I think that's something that the film does really poorly. Is there's never a feeling of real loss when one of the characters dies. They always just go,
Yeah.
like the captain, like she sets fire to herself and they just go, well, she's dead.
Yep. Don't need her anyway.
Oh. Okay. I mean, the main character cares when his girlfriend dies at the end, but I mean that's the only time it seems that one of the characters gives a shit, because no one fucking cared about Balin.
No.
It's like, good, the fuck is dead.
Like, the dude was written to be an asshole the entire time throughout the entire movie. And I'm in command here. It's like, well, you're very clearly incapable of command. Why do we even listen to you?
He's like it looks like he's incapable of walking. I'd never understood like if that was like a character trait, like he's supposed to have like an injury, but he was always like one leg was really stiff and he just walked really odd. Like, not very intimidating for like a dick character. So, maybe that's why they just let him be a dick. Like, no, don't. Yeah. Come on, it's not cool. Don't pick on him. Like, he's got his legs fucked, man. All right, he's got enough problems.
He's scared of evil space shadow cats.
Yeah.
Oh no. So the movie at that point picks up a little bit because they go inside the pyramid and they get to that one room where they're inside, but there's all the lights cascading up.
Yeah,
and it just looks it looks, again, it's like one of the few interesting things in the movie is just how it looks, and you're like, wow, I want to know more about this. And then the lights go out and someone falls, like gets his guts torn out and then falls to his death in a really funny shot. Like, oh no, not Balin.
Oh yeah, Balin. That's what happened to him. Yeah, that's right. Thrown to his death.
That was funny. So we'll just move on quickly. They keep going because again, that's just really, there's not much going on in the film. Really, they just keep going and dying. Yeah,
they just get together, announce the obvious, state a stupid plan of attack, and then split up once again, and then one of them dies, and they get back together, announce the obvious, repeat, until you have like one or two left, two being an ambiguous, because you don't really know if Ranger's dead or not. And like the last thing he says, as because okay, we're here now, Core or the master or the chef or the weird boss, old guy is the guy leading everyone here to die from their worst fears, presents himself, and Cobrain, whatever the fuck his name is, was
Cocaine.
Yeah, Cocaine. He was like, "Yo, Core, what's up?" And then Ranger's like, "Dude, be cool with him." And then like Steps show up and Cobrain shows up and he goes up there to talk to him, which leads into like this really kind of like it's actually a passable action scene.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like really considering the rest of the movie.
I mean, it was
considering the rest of the movie.
It was almost worth watching the shit up to this point just to see this action scene, because it was, you know, when it was made, the practical effects, all that kind of stuff. Like the rest of the crew comes back somehow and they try to attack him, and he's like fighting them off, or he's fighting off the monsters. That's right, the individual monsters. Yeah. Everyone else's fears first. He kills them, and at one point there's like a trampoline introduced because he makes this super long forward flip jump.
It's like, yeah.
He's like, fucking action hero!
Like, come on, Cabren.
Go, Cobrain! He does this jump and he like turns around and he kills the last one, and then it's like, what now? You know, like he's so fucking cool. And then like that's when the crew shows up, and it's like, oh, okay. They all like mob him. He takes one away, you know, like knocks one of them away, and then Crystal dude, I don't remember his name, shows up, and they do this pretend martial arts combat.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It's like, oh, they're trying.
Yeah, they really were. He was like, okay. They even did the little like flat palm to fist salute thing, and okay, let's fight. And then Crystal, that's his name now.
Crystal Meth.
Starts like
Crystal Meth.
They do like one arm Matrix kung fu with each other well before the Matrix. So like, you know, you have to give original credit where original credit's due. They do one arm Matrix kung fu, and then Crystal knocks him away, and then like they just sort of get on him and start head bobbing towards him, and I'm like, oh, okay, are they eating him or something? What is this?
Yeah.
And then he wakes up to his girlfriend, who is not dead, like petting his face and waking him up.
And it's like one of the few moments where he looks like genuinely fucking terrified. It's like, you're dead. This is creepy, because that's one moment where it is a little bit unsettling, just because the rest of them all look like they did when they died, and she's there looking almost like angel-like.
Yeah.
And it's just this, this is weird. His face is, this is weird. I don't like bad touch.
Bad touch. I need an adult.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it turns out that she's going to kill him. And she, like, choke slams him or tries to choke slam him. And honestly, I don't remember the transition from that to, like, does he hit her or something? I don't even remember anymore.
I can't remember either, and I watched it today.
I watched it, like, an hour ago.
That's funny because... Chris, that's funny because we've been recording for an hour and a half.
Well, shut up. Anyway,
but
something happens.
Yeah, so he does something to get rid of them, and then he's like, you passed the test.
I know.
Now you are the master.
Best scene
what?
of the movie.
He's like, I didn't want this. The end.
No, you skipped the best part. Like, she goes away. Who cares? She fucks off. And then, like, Cora's like, you've passed the test. You've mastered your fear, blah, blah, blah. Now you are the master. But, like Cabren, like, stands triumphantly in front of him and, like, ejaculates lasers at him.
Like,
which doesn't...
Now I've bested you.
Yeah, which doesn't kill him or anything. It just sort of, like, knocks him back, kind of, and then they have, like, ending dialogue where Cabren becomes the master because his face turns red.
And then Cabren was master.
And then Cabren was master. It's just...
You remember what his father used to say? Don't become master.
And the worst thing, like, when it got to that point, like you were saying, like, the action scene, like, I mean, it's past, but it's like, they're trying, like, this is kind of cool. It's, you know, the movie tries too little too late, and it starts to get somewhere, and then it has that ending where you just go, what the fuck was that? Because there's like there is the part where they kind of explain what's going on when he just says this was a station or a planet. No, was it like a planet designed?
Yeah, it was
an ancient race,
a pyramid designed by an ancient space race to test their fear or something.
I'm like, that's a cool idea. That's a really cool. That's why I'd heard about that in the movie. And I was like, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
that's, you know, if handled well, it's really cool. And you get this, like, okay, this movie's going somewhere, and then you are the master. Like, what?
Yeah,
and he just stands there, and then the lights turn on. And where is Ranger okay?
Yeah, where's Ranger at? Is he still downstairs? Can he be the master instead?
It's like, Cabren, if you're the master, can you get me off this planet, please?
Right.
Or does that mean he has to be stuck playing space chess with Cabren for eternity? Cabren, I don't want to play. I play space chess.
I am the master.
Do you want me? No, it's fine. I won't. No more worms. But yeah. Again, I will say one of my favourite things in terms of effects and how the set looked, the matte painting when the two of them are below Core, I think his name was, the ship the chef who turned out to be the master. There's a really nice matte painting there, and then I liked the effect when he's walking up the stairs and they keep like appearing, a few appear at a time. And he has to apprehensively put his leg on, and then it's like he's fucking with him, where sometimes like it just disappears and he falls through. It's like, I'm fucking with you, dickhead.
Oh, yeah, with the stairs, yeah. Because the stairs slide out and walk on, like they show up just as he's like climbing the stairs, and at one point it just doesn't do it at all, and then he falls on his face a little bit, yeah. I remember.
Yeah. And he looks up and he's like, you fucking dick. And I liked how... Oh yeah, I would be like, haha, fuck you. I liked how it looks. Like, again, visually, the room they were in just looks so strange and alien and far more interesting than the movie. Like, again, like the idea behind it and the how some of it looked is more interesting than the film itself, which is a shame. Because of a better director, better script, it could have been really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that script was completely shit. Like, it was like some 15-year-old saw Alien and like some other movies, and he was like, oh my god, I have to do something like this. I've seen these wonderful things, so I'm going to make all these wonderful things into one movie, make it a super wonderful movie. That's the only inevitable possible outcome from this idea. So we're going to have Alien, we're going to have space flight, we're going to have a planet where like the bad things happen, and then we're going to have a pyramid because, like, you know, mystery, right? And then the mystery is going to lead to fear, and then it's going to be like this really interesting like look into like the human condition and fear itself, and like each person dies by things they're the most afraid of, and that's going to be the most chilling thing of all, until like the one person who isn't afraid of anything, he'll become the master, and then that'll set up for the sequel.
That we'll never fucking make. Yeah, you're right. And
I'll produce your movie. I just have a few ideas about certain scenes and what we could
It's like, no, you can't do that, Roger. Do you want me to give the directional duties to someone else? No, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're right. Like, there's so many good ideas, which make. That's why I was saying it's such a frustrating movie.
Yeah,
because it's got so many, lots and lots of really cool ideas that with a really good script and a better director. Because I mean, the actors they had, most of them were really serviceable. Really.
Yeah, I don't have any fault with any of the actors except for Sarah Palmer. Like, she's just way too intense. She's too intense in Twin Peaks. She's just really intense all the time, and like they could have replaced her with anyone else. That would have been fine. But for the most part, like, I felt bad for every line that every actor had to say and pretend was real in front of the camera. You know, like, it was just, it's got to be frustrating for all of them. It's like, I say, what now? You mean what happens after? Seriously, these protractors? Are you fucking kidding me?
I live and die by the crystals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the cast is really serviceable, and I looked up their filmography after I saw it, and they're all like real character actors, a lot of TV stuff, and it looked like the guy who played Cabren was in a lot of stuff. He passed. I mean, unfortunately, he passed away a good few years ago. I looked up, and it was quite depressing. His father became very ill, and I think had dementia at one point in 1 year, and then died. And then the following year, the actor was diagnosed with lung cancer, I think. It's like, wow, that's a fucking shit couple of years.
Yeah, it is.
Jesus, but I looked up, and I thought again, like, I think. The guy who played Cabren was serviceable. He looked the part of like a hero in one of these space movies.
Like, he believed what he was saying, even if it was complete nonsense.
Yeah, it was a shit dollar, but like it's like they were all trying. And like the set, I like the costume design and the characters, like their actual like military.
No.
I liked the
no,
the
you
t-shirts,
cannot like that.
It's
bad.
Not the t-shirts.
I wasn't sure about the weird lights on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that. I mean, just the clothing, like the jackets. Like, I thought they looked very believable in terms. It didn't look like, you know, you see movies from this era and they're like, this is a space thing, so their outfit's going to be like lycra and have glowing lights all around the arms, and it was like, look, like, I believe that there'd be people who wear shit like that. It's like an Aiden. They just look like they're wearing normal clothes. Like, that looked fine. Stuff on the backs made no sense.
Well, like, the problem with their costumes were, in my opinion, was that I thought they were just like a emergency rescue crew, kind of like EMTs or, you know, medical, that kind of stuff.
Oh no, yeah.
But they came in like loaded with guns and stuff. Like, they're supposed to also be like colonial marines, but in Aliens, the colonial marines were wearing armor, because that's what you would be wearing if you're going to be taking gunshots or acid fire or whatever. These guys are just like mechanics with guns.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the problems with the movies is there's never that moment where you never really know who these people are. You know, they go in there because they've lost contact, but you never know if are they a military crew? Are they just rescue? Are they just explorers? Like, what? Who are these people? Who are these people? You never know. I do know that I did find out. Sorry, that one of the alternate titles for this was Mind Warp: An Infinity of Terror. Oh my god! And the tagline was, "It's always midnight in space."
For fuck's sake!
I love midnight. That's when I get all my gaming done. Are you kidding me? I need to go to space.
Why is that? And again, why is that like a bad thing? It's like, it's always midnight in space. Like, okay, but midnight can be quite cozy. You know, when it's winter and it's midnight, you get all your snuggly stuff on. You're all nice and warm, and you just sit down with coffee and stuff. And it's like, night's not bad. What? In space, it's always midnight.
Cool, man. Like Netflix and chill for 24 hours a day.
Yeah, like, I can do that. But it's ultimately, I can't recommend the movie.
Oh yeah, at the end of it,
if you want to watch something cheesy, then
if you
it
actually,
is.
if you want some 80s exploitation, because it is like kind of like exploiting the whole sci-fi horrors around it, and some exploitation schlock, you could do a lot worse.
You could do worse. I would definitely say so.
I've personally watched other movies where I just like, at least at times watching this, I was engaged at times. Like at least it's memorable, even when it's terrible. There's stuff I remember from it. And there's stuff I did like. It's not one of those movies that's just so horrible that there's nothing you can take from it.
Yeah.
Because I have seen horror. I've seen all kinds of movies where it's just so bad, so boring, and just non-engaging at all. At least I started to care a few times. Like, I wanted Robert Englund to survive.
Yeah, me too.
Not that he survives, I'm happy. Because he's young baby-faced Robert Englund.
Yeah, I wanted Crystal to do something more than what he did. You know, maybe use those crystals to do more things other than just walk around like they're just like, I got daggers. Everyone else is loaded with guns and ammunition and flame launchers and lasers and stuff, but I've got daggers. Why are you a valuable asset to this team? Daggers.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Besides, I thought he was mute. I was like, okay, cool. Except that's also dumb because he can't communicate with his team. You know,
hand signals. Maybe that's what he was doing at the beginning. I was like, oh mate, yeah. Again, sorry, you're saying that. I was thinking, oh, maybe he doesn't talk and he's just doing like a hand signal.
Yeah,
and then it's like, no, it's like a weird religious maybe thing. I don't fucking know.
Even faith is shaken by the galaxy of terror.
God can't help you now.
Yeah, it's always midnight where God hangs. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's stupid.
You are the master now, Cabren. Even his face at the end when he tells him that, he has a look of, what?
Yeah, I don't want to be.
What's that?
I wanted to get on the boat and go home.
It's like, what the fuck does that mean? End credits. No, what? Again, that could be like an alternate ending. Instead of Ranger like screaming, like calling the Cabren to see where he is, the ending could just be, what does it mean? What do I do? Do I just sit here? Hello?
Can I get pizza?
Ranger, what is it? I don't know. He says I'm the master. Is that cool? I don't know. He hasn't told me what it does. He's just fucked up.
Like, did he go there on purpose to let someone else become the master, or
I don't know.
Did he? Like, I don't understand.
Because I mean,
well,
again, like it makes sense when he goes, this pyramid was designed to, as long as it's raised to test your ability to control fear. Okay, that's cool. And he's like, and now I'm going to make you the master. What? No.
Well, I guess if you play chess with Toothless for long enough, you'll just want to get out of there any way you possibly can.
The crazy cat lady from The Simpsons. It's strange. Frustrating as fuck movie.
Yeah. I wasn't as much frustrated because I had no expectations whatsoever. But
oh no, I didn't either. But it was more a case of I would just every time like something they did right, and then they did something equally baffling.
Yeah, I liked how like near the end, Cabren was like, "We have to stick together," and then in the next scene they immediately split up.
And I like the fact the one time they decide to stick together, they go through a portal that splits them up.
Exactly. Now it's against.
It's like, oh, for fuck's sake!
There's nothing you could have done.
That's kind of like his reaction. He walks through and he's like, "Hello." Being the main character sucks sometimes.
Right. I liked how he saw his girlfriend on the other side of the window, and he's like has his hand up, like, touch my hand. Do you feel comfort? Now go that way. I'll go the opposite direction.
Yeah. If he just told her to fucking wait, she'd have survived instead of getting her face crushed.
Yeah.
With a cartoon sound effect.
It's funny.
Like, why'd you just...
It's funny that you mentioned that because there's a sound effect that I hear a lot, and I don't really know how to title it. I originally heard it in StarCraft, which is why you won't know what I'm talking about. But there's a building on the Terran side. You click it, and it goes here like that, and then it plays like some sort of like I don't know university band music on top of it because it's an academy, so it's like or something. But I hear that kind of part like when somebody falls off like a building or whatever, or if someone's like. I don't know. It's hard to place where I hear it everywhere else, but I have heard it multiple times in different movies.
One of those like stock scream effects. Yeah. Like someone's fallen off a bridge, having them go, yeah. You know, one of those stock ones that you can just like buy for like £5.
Yeah, like I've heard that sound before. Why don't they just make a new sound? Is the sound worth £5? I mean, you could just shout in a mic. It's free.
Yeah, or these actors have, especially in these big budget films, it's like this actor's being paid a lot. Can you just even like in low budget films, just take them to a room and have them scream?
Yeah.
Into the microphone.
Or did they do that and it was such a colossal failure that their best option afterwards was to purchase the £5 sound effect?
They're like, fuck, it's easier.
With things like the Wilhelm scream, they probably used it so much now it's become like a nod.
Yeah,
it's an in-joke, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about the Wilhelm scream, though I didn't really know what it was until somebody pointed it out to me like last year.
Me too, and I find it very hard to hear to like pinpoint it and pick it out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people who just hear it and go, "Oh yeah, there's the Wilhelm scream."
It's in a lot of stuff, and it's sometimes it's a lot of fun. It was in Red Dead Redemption as well.
Was it? Not that I would have.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have picked it up, but yeah.
Because it does. I think it does originate from a western. No, it doesn't. Wait, I think it was one of the first uses people will know of. Is it was used in a western. It's when a Native American throws a spear into a guy's leg. He goes, ah! He's like, oh fuck. It's been used in more than 360 movies.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! It was used in the film Distant Drums. Oh no, it was that. It's not a Native American. I think it's is it like a tribesman throws a spear into someone's leg, and he's like, ah!
Hey guys, there's a YouTube video, 6 seconds long, and it's the Terran Academy sound effect. I just put it on the Skype.
Okay.
Let's see if I recognise the scream, because there's a high chance that it will.
Probably.
Yes!
Hey, wait 1 second before I play it. I'm just going to...
Yes.
I'm going to put a pause here in the podcast and I'll play the sound. So, play the sound.
Right
okay,
now?
so that's what it sounded like. I've played it.
Okay, yes.
I recognise that.
I put it in via the magic of editing.
It's
I know
insane.
that sound. It's like a pterodactyl
Yes.
scream.
Yeah.
There is funny story behind it. So I'm pretty sure it's in Half-Life 2. You've both played Half-Life 2 before.
Yeah, like a decade ago. It's still a good game though.
It's brilliant. You know the fast moving head crab zombies.
Yeah.
And there's that horrible screech. They just screech as they run towards you. It's that sped up.
Oh.
I'm certain that's where that's from. I'm sure I ever watched something or I read it that it's that sound effect sped up.
Huh.
And then which is like, huh. Yeah, that is kind of fucking horrifying. Something just screaming at you like that as it runs towards you. No underwear for me today.
No underwear for me today. I want to shit straight down the
Galaxy
pant
of
leg.
Yeah. In the galaxy of terror.
Okay.
Galaxy of confusion.
Galaxy
The master.
It's
I'm the
always
master now.
midnight in space.
If you're the master, can you make a better move?
Yeah, if you're the master, why are you doing this? Why is this
why
how
are you
you
a
chose to
dick?
spend your time, asshole?
I just would like, because obviously Cabren gets annoyed and he shoots him and it doesn't work, but I just would like him to have just said, why? Why the fuck are you doing this? Because I'm the master.
Yeah.
No. Why?
Like, no, that's not
Why?
good enough. Give me a real reason. Why did you wake up with this on your planner, huh?
It's like, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell? I'm sorry. You're the master now. You can be the master this time if you want. Like angry children. You can be the master this time. I'm sorry.
Like
My bad.
That was like the best part. Like I laughed out loud. Like after he tried to kill him with the blaster, and then he goes through all that shit, and then he just like ejaculates lasers at him. And, like that's what they wanted to go with. Like I have power of spirit and no fear at all. I'm gonna blast you with all of that through my chest. Ha ha!
I overcame my fears. Die, you piece of shit. Yeah, when I was watching, like, I watched a lot of these horror films with my girlfriend because she loves horror as well now. But she loves horror, so I watched a lot of these with her now.
Made her love horror.
And we were watching it, and when that happened, our reaction was just, what the fuck? and she said, I'm pretty sure it was either it wasn't me, it was her. Just Taryn said, the credits better not start rolling. Like, there we go. Like, what the fuck happened? And it's like, is Ranger okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm more invested in Robert Englund because it's babyface Robert Englund.
Yeah. It's actor whose name we actually know. I won't call him Crystal because I know who Robert Englund is. And even then, his name Ranger in the movie is much easier to remember. It's like one of the things that like they got wrong from their inspiration with Alien, maybe on purpose. Maybe they thought that the names were just too basic in Alien, so they wanted to go with like these weird space names like Cobrain and Crystal and
Balon.
Balon. Yes, that's like a Klingon's name, you know. Look at the fuck.
His name it's QWHOD, so Q-Hod?
Yeah, Q-Hod.
Q-Hod. What? Who names that?
Well, he's...
Honey, what are we going to name our child?
He's from a different culture. You have to understand. He lives and dies by that crystal. Him and all of his people are gifted one crystal on birth and the second crystal upon achieving manhood or whatever rite of passage is laid out before them. And then when they have both crystals, they're unstoppable. I would watch that movie over this movie in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I want to know more about the lore of Galaxy of Terror, more about the crystals.
We could write a Spoilers of the Dam sponsored fanfic about Galaxy of Terror.
It's the prequel, the origin story of his crystal throwing weapons.
Yes.
I've got an idea for a really erotic scene, guys. I don't know if you...
That's Crystal Dick.
I'll write that one.
Crystal Dick. Okay, so I've got the list of names up here because we're talking about Hacelios. We've got Cabren. Yes, that's fine. Aluma or Aluma.
Who was that?
Core.
Who was Aluma?
Aluma. She was the woman whose face got crushed. I don't think they ever say.
And she was like an empath, right? Like she was like picking up on psychic vibes.
Yeah, which didn't go anywhere in the entire movie. She was like, "I'm afraid. I'm afraid to get psychic powers," and they're like, "Shut up, let's just go."
Yeah, because there's that one moment. Yeah,
there's that one line where she says, "It's cold and dead. All I feel is like cold from that thing." I was like, "Whoa, we're actually kind of building something here."
Yeah, she basically she says but there's she's saying there, but there's nothing. It's not anything. And you're like, that's interesting, but then you think she'd be the one that figured it out and not Robert Englund.
Yeah.
So you've got Cabren, Aluma, or however you pronounce it, Core with a K, so he's from Mortal Kombat. Commander Ilvar, Balon, Ranger, Damia, Q-Hod, Captain Trantor.
What?
Kos was Captain Trantor.
That's Sarah Palmer.
Kos was the man who was eaten by the giant cockroach, and then Mitri, who I don't know who Mitri was.
Yeah, that was the toothless lady.
She was the cat lady.
Yeah,
and then you got Shadow Monster, and dead spaceship crew member.
Yeah,
nice.
So
they're
Captain
really Trantor, was that her name? You said?
Yeah,
Captain Trantor.
Like she desperately needs to get married so she can change that last name immediately.
It's like a level away from Captain Phasor.
Yeah, I mean, like
Captain.
Like whenever I see
Hero.
these like humanoid characters with like interesting or weirdo names or whatever, I like to imagine like either they're running for president, so like vote Trantor for president, or it just sounds silly, or like if they're going on a date and they're telling their friend about it, like, oh yeah, I got a hot date tonight. Oh yeah, who is? Oh, Captain Trantor. It's like, are you fucking stupid? The name alone is so unattractive. You should be repelled. What is it with you? What's wrong with you?
He's like, it's Captain. Her name's Melanie Trantor. What?
Melanie Trantor.
Melanie Trantor. Yeah, that's a stupid name. I'm sorry.
I'm going to marry her as fast as I can.
I gotta change her name. I'm just gonna do it. I've got to do this for her.
Be a favor. And then she wants to keep her last name, so it's like Trantor Smith or something like that.
Trantor Smith.
Nice.
Oh man.
Oh, the poor woman.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a character. We're not talking about the actress.
Well, she was in Galaxy of Terror.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Poor woman. But honestly, I think she had the best part. She had the best part.
Yeah, she's got to sit back and play video games.
Yeah, she showed up. She just forced space to be her bitch, and then she just left and then set herself on fire. It's like, bravo. Get her an Emmy.
She's like, you guys fuck off and do this weird shit out there. I'm going to play video games. And then have like serious PTSD.
Oh,
Maybe you
man.
shouldn't be playing a war game, you stupid bitch.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Like, open the door first.
No, don't do.
I can't wait for that. So impatient.
It's a movie where they'd all survive if they just communicated.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the first guy only dies because he just stays behind when they leave.
Yeah, he just lags behind.
They're
He's
all by the
afraid.
exit.
Yeah.
It's like, I better just sit here then. But they've all left. Wait, what?
And, like,
What
why
do we
did the
do?
rest
No,
of them
just
leave
get up.
without him? They should be like, yo, come on. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. Come on. Come
They're not doing-
on.
Oh, fuck, he's dead.
Come on.
Or was it versus like was it Resident Evil 5? Come on, Roger. Come on, come on. Wait. Come on.
Oh, man. I used to play with my cousin, and we would do that all the time. Like, because after the third, come on, he goes, come on! He steps it up a notch. Let's go!
Sheva! Like, oh, Jesus
Like,
Christ.
Sheva
I'm right.
is, like, standing right next to Chris.
Like,
Roger.
Chris, are you okay? Like, Chris, I really think you need to lay off the steroids,
I'm-
man. Come on, like, Sheva! You need to help me! Like, oh, jeez, I hate seeing this happen to you, man. like Jill wakes up for like later in the game. She's like, Chris, what the fuck, man? Oh, you were fine like you were, man.
Yeah.
You didn't need to change yourself. Like, I needed to punch the boulder.
Not a hero.
That's the
Whenever
real.
that comes out.
That's the real terror, isn't it? That's not even out yet.
Yep.
Like, our first podcast was Resident Evil 7, and the DLC for Resident Evil 7 that was available at purchase on day one is not released yet. Does anyone even
"Gee, I can't
care
wait to
anymore?
I'm like, they were like, we're sorry, it's not done yet because we're lazy.
Yeah, can I get my $30 back, please? Because I paid that extra on top of the game to release all 3 episodes of DLC that the first has not even been released yet. So what the fuck?
It's like maybe you shouldn't promise DLC unless you know it's going to be ready in time.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what?
maybe
Saying
you
all that
should
right now,
worry.
I'm actually fucking angry about that.
I've only just remembered. I'm like, what? Where is that? For fuck's
Yeah, I'm owed
I can't find
more of
news.
this backwards nonsense Resident Evil story, and I want to play through it. Damn it!
And the most thing is because there's all the questions regarding the Umbrella logo. It's like, but I wanna know.
Yeah, like that was the
incidentally,
thing.
the new CG movie will be out soon. I believe it's out in America. It's going to be out here soon.
Yeah, it is. That's it, because I sent you both the clip of Chris fighting, I presume, the main villain, and they're so close, and they just keep trying to shoot each other, and then Chris starts shooting the floor. Maybe you should stop trying to shoot his leg and just shoot him in the back or something. Like, I'm pretty sure if you aimed up, you'd have a better chance of shooting the man running than trying to shoot his feet. Yeah, it's a strange.
Okay.
What's weird is just when you get 7, which is like taking it. It's gone back to basics, as we already know. It's like a lot more. Not more grounded isn't the right word, but combat's like less action and silly, like gone. And then you have like, oh cool, so they're making another CGI movie, and it's like gun cutter. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Like I'll.
Oh guys, I'll still watch it.
Yeah, I'll give it to him that I have never seen an action sequence like that before.
Not
You know, and if we're making entertainment, I mean, it's just entertainment. So, I mean, the reason why he kept shooting the ground was because his hand was being guided by his enemy and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it was like they were a fist fight with pistols, and they just kept shooting around each other.
And they're so close to each other, and they keep missing. Like, you know, either you're both really good at this, or you're both really bad at
Yeah,
this.
they've been practicing. It looked very choreographed.
Yeah, like, damn, did you guys like hook up before the mission? I don't know what's going on. Oh, dude, it sounded like a really cool idea, right?
So check this out. Since we were talking about the Not a Hero DLC just a moment ago, Nakanishi notes that Not a Hero DLC will indeed still be free upon its release, whenever that may be.
That's a good answer. Whenever it is. Next year, 2 years' time, when the next one comes out.
Right.
It'll be packaged in with the
And that's as of IGN on April 2017. My problem is that I paid for it. So it's not free to
you paid
me.
for the season
Yeah, I got
pass.
the season pass. Because I was like, you know what? We're starting this podcast thing. We're talking about RE7. I'd like to be on top of it as soon as it comes out. So I'll go ahead and I'll put $30 down for the SotD cast. And it's like,
a good investment.
yeah.
And it's fuck.
It's not here yet. and now it's free, and I paid for it.
I was like, well, this is great.
Somebody owes me $10. Somebody owes me lunch.
You owe me lunch, you fucks.
Yeah, I love lunch.
Frauds.
Lunch is so good. Lunch is way better than Galaxy of Terror, that's for sure.
Galaxy of lunch.
Especially pizza lunch.
God.
And then dinner lunch, because you have pizza left over, unless you're a monster. And you eat all the pizza before dinner.
No. That's half of the fun is having pizza.
I was going to say,
absolutely.
What, we all know that if Chris walked into the pyramid, it would be a completely empty pizza table with empty pizza trays.
But that smell is in the air, you know? Like, I know there's pizza here.
Missed it.
I know it's here. Who had it? Where did it go? Cabren, did you eat my pizza?
Damn it, giant worm.
I'm not sure what my fear would be.
Watching the movie again.
Oh my god, I know exactly. No, I opened the door and it's the Queen. And she knows everything I've said about her, and she knows that we've been putting on funny voices and pretending to be her as well.
and 007's like standing behind her.
Yeah.
You don't have a chance against fighting him, so you're just gonna have to like take what's coming to you and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Matt, do you have something to fill into that particular niche? What would your worst fear be?
I don't know. Actually.
Into the scary pyramid.
Giant spiders. Giant spiders. I don't know. Something fucking gross.
Like, I'm actually kind of okay with giant spiders because they're easier to shoot.
It's true. That's why, like in Resident Evil games, speaking of Resident Evil, the giant spiders, like you always think like, oh, well, I've got arachnophobia, and it's like the giant spiders and that just never scared me because they were just big and blocky anyway, and also they were just really easy to avoid.
The one thing I don't
giant
like about them is they're very quiet. You can kind of not know they're there, and then they drop from the ceiling.
Yeah,
that could be fun. But
I think you can hear like light padding as they
the very light
move along.
Footfalls. Yeah,
and then they just like drop acid on you in the fucking sewers.
Yeah.
Although there is like a good scare I remember in the second one, it's just before you. It's like when you're playing as Leon. Yes, in Leon's area, either scenario, and you have to go to the waste disposal part to put the chess pieces in.
Yeah.
And you run around that corner, and off camera you can't see it. As you start to move down, it's like a spider on the adjacent wall, like fucking sprints towards you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the fuck is that? Oh, it's dead. Moving on.
Now I will say that giant spiders en masse would be terrifying.
Horrifying.
But like,
I got fucked.
Like if there's a giant spider downstairs in my basement, I'd be like, Dad, get your gun. We got this. He ain't gonna be hard to hit. He's got a huge hitbox.
Now, he can't get through this like tiny guy. Just keep shooting.
Yeah, just like hold the door open a little bit, and I'll just blast him. It's fine.
Okay, on a serious note, in terms of Galaxy Tower, I think mine probably might involve being dissolved very slowly. That's quite horrifying.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And knowing that you can't stop it.
Like if you're in somebody's belly or something, someone's vor fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, like in I don't know if either of you have ever watched or know of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm partway through season 2 at the moment, but one of the characters at one point he is swallowed and he wakes up inside the stomach and there's just people dissolving around him. It's horrifying.
Oh my god!
Like you're like, oh, they die slowly, shit. Because some of them when they eat them, they like break their back.
Yeah.
So they just have to lay there and dissolve very slowly.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Terrifying.
Now, Matt, you should be blessed that you have access to a season 2 so quickly. My brother watched it 3 years ago. The first season, maybe 4 years ago. It was a time ago. It was a long time ago.
I think it was 4. It's 2013. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago.
About 4 years ago. And he was trying to get me into it, and I'm like, no, I've seen this before. Not that I've seen Attack on Titan. I've seen what anime does now, and I just can't spend the time anymore waiting for more scenes so that it can flip flop the drama plot, and to a point where I don't know where they're going anymore, but I keep watching because I'm just waiting for the end, with Naruto, for example.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I really got into Naruto for the first season. I was like, you know what, it's a fun anime to watch, and they're gonna get that Orochimaru one day, and then it turns into ninja wizards fighting other ninja wizards and Orochimaru isn't even a thing anymore. I don't even know what the hell's going on. So yeah, screw that shit.
This is focus. I will say one thing. Season 1 of Attack on Titan was 25 episodes long. But season 2 is only 12, and already season 2 is so much better because there's no filler. It's just all the plot is just going and going and going and going. There's always something happening, which is good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I hate filler.
That-
I'm done with filler in anime. Like it's like filler in like Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, I just want stuff to happen now. Like get the plot in, because the world of Attack on Titan is interesting as well. And the twists, there's lots of twists and turns because you're still not quite sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Or where these things are coming from.
Well, that's a shame to hear because that's all I'm interested in knowing. I don't even want to know that. I don't want to even know the path from beginning to end. I just want to go. I want to go like. So, did somebody's father create the Titans to create like a universal threat to band the whole of humanity together so that they can fight these Titans? But then they got out of hand. Is that what happened? Because I can't imagine what else could possibly be happening with this shit.
I know that there's I think towards the end is you start to get to have an inkling of what is actually going on. So, but what they're doing so far is in season 2 is really good.
That's good.
And it's they're so fucked.
Well, it's got to be better than watching Galaxy of Terror.
Yes.
Which I think I'll just go on record on saying that I can't in any way recommend it. Even if you want some schlock, there's better schlock, and I would recommend you just explore something else than this Galaxy of Terror. Waka waka waka.
I do wonder because I do wonder maybe if you had a few beers and you had some friends over,
many beers,
you kind of because you could riff on it and make fun of it. So
yeah, we were riffing on it here,
help.
and that helped in the experience, definitely.
Yeah, same with me and Kitty. It helped because I think we were just like bouncing things off of each other, just like what? Why is that? What did that? But that makes no what?
I was so alone when I watched this.
I'm so sorry. What have I done?
Yeah, I could have got Rizza. She could have watched it on YouTube, but she's like 13 hours ahead. So when I was watching it, she was probably doing something more important. Anything is more important, by the way.
Filing taxes, doing the socks.
Absolutely.
Sitting and staring
Folding
at the wall.
your socks, way more important. I don't even fold them. Why would you? But if you had to fold your socks, that's a more important thing to do than watching Galaxy of Terror.
It's more terrifying.
More terrifying.
Let me be the one then, because it is my choice next to pick something. And I think... yes, I'm going to pick a film that we have all seen before. I'm pretty sure we've all seen it before. But it would be very interesting to revisit. I've been putting together the script for a video essay about this film for a while now. And this is a really good way to get all of the facts and things I've been looking at sort of out there and discuss with people. So the movie is Jacob's Ladder.
Ooh.
It is in my opinion, it's a fundamentally important film to the genre of psychological horror. It's probably one of the major influences behind the Silent Hill franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it goes pretty unsung because not an awful lot of people mention it, but it had a fundamental effect on me when I first saw it. I think I saw it when I was sort of 15 or 16. And... see, the dog loves it. It's a great film.
She's like, Jacob's Ladder! Jacob's Ladder, you fucking serious? Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
And another dickhead pick Galaxy of Terror. What the fuck?
But it's going to throw me off track now. So yeah, it would be really good to revisit that with you guys. And anyone who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a great film. And we'll discuss it next week.
Yeah, I can say that since we've already admitted we've already all seen it before, that, I totally endorse it over Galaxy of Terror. Way over Galaxy. Like, Jacob's Ladder is an airship, and Galaxy of Terror is the core of the Earth. Like, that's your priority right there. That's the huge gap between those two. You should definitely watch Jacob's Ladder over, quite literally, Galaxy of Terror.
Oh, well, I watched Galaxy of Terror today, and in my mind I was thinking, yeah, I need to pick something good.
The floor is Galaxy of Terror.
The floor is Galaxy of Terror. And I'm Spider-Man all of a sudden.
Oh, I didn't know I could do this. How was I getting on the scene?
Okay, well, we'll talk about that next time then.
Yes.
It remains to be said then. Chris and Matt, you have YouTube channels?
Yes, I am, and I was and still am lost in the wall pipe with something very slowly getting put together. But because I still need to capture more footage because I lost footage and it's all very annoying. So I need to find a way to just get it all back.
Problems with footage is the worst.
It's annoying.
As for me, it's just been tough getting free time to even do some video stuff, but I definitely have it in my head, ready to go. Like, I want to do it. So if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. There will be something new eventually. But as of this month, I'm going to be working every Saturday in July and overtime every day. So I'm just not going to have any free time to put anything up soon. But who knows? Maybe next month, maybe Christmas time, that kind of stuff. But there will be
should
something.
go and sub Chris's channel just in case and watch all his old videos just to get ready for new stuff.
Yeah, just get ready. Just prepare yourself.
Just get ready. Prepare yourself.
Yes. Right now, you are not prepared. World of Warcraft
as for
reference.
me, I don't. Yeah, they fly over my head. As did pretty much 10 minutes of Dark Souls chat earlier on as well. Yeah, it kind of made that swooping, screaming noise effect. But yeah. Well, by the time this episode goes up, I will have started streaming my For Glory streams. I did a test run the other week or so, playing an old NES game called Boomerang Kid. There are problems playing old NES games where they're really hard because you do not get continues or checkpoints. And I've noticed that although it's a good challenge, it doesn't necessarily make for a good stream. So what I will have started doing by the time this podcast goes live is I'm going to be doing my For Glory streams, and I've kind of brought it back up to a bit more modern day. So I'm going to be starting with Call of Duty Classic on veteran difficulty.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I mean I've completed COD 1, 2, 4, 4.2, 4.3, I guess they're called, whatever, Modern Warfare. So I've played all of those on veteran and completed them. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do, but it is kind of fun to watch someone kind of banging their head against a wall, creeping around corners, shooting Nazis, and getting sniped instantly. So hopefully, I'm streaming those at the moment. So if you want to find my channel, it'll be in the description below, and come along and watch me stream.
Do it.
Yes, I've decided that my philosophy with the streaming is much like the podcast, where we just start doing it and just keep doing it, and hopefully it will become better as time goes on.
That's the inevitability. The inevitability of it all.
Inevitability.
You start, and then you whittle away the stuff that's unnecessary, and you keep what's good, and you won't know what's unnecessary until you start trying it. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're listening to this podcast right now, and if you have any kind of inclination to start a YouTube channel or stream or whatever, just do it. Just break away the unnecessary or the unneeded as you're streaming. Everyone started at day one, eventually got to where they're at now, and even if you don't get anywhere, chances are you'll still make some friends out of it. So it's not a waste of time.
I would say it's definitely the best advice.
And it's fun. It's fun. Like, obviously it'd be nice to like the dream would be to earn like some decent money from it. But if you enjoy doing it, and I enjoy doing the stuff I do, it's a nice little hobby to have, and it's very rewarding and nice to see. Even if you only get like say 100 or 150 views on something.
Yeah.
When you see people like engaging with you, or even they say, "Oh shit, I remember," like I had I think it was my Mercs video, I had someone say how they remembered playing it as a kid, and it might have been that one, might have been another one, but it's just nice, like, at least one person's taken something from it, or it's reminded them of something they enjoy.
Yeah.
It's not everyone's gonna make it big. That's what I've accepted that, but as long as you get the people listening and you engage them in some way, and it feels quite rewarding.
Yeah, and then just one quick addendum to that is you may not want to get big, because that's a big deal. Like, I'm not saying like, you're gonna. What I'm trying to say is there's gonna be a lot of work involved. People will expect you to stream at a certain time every day that you've announced, anyways. And if you ever push that streaming schedule to even more, like to include Saturdays, for example, then your fans will start to expect Saturdays as well, and you can never really get that time back unless you quit and get another regular job. So getting big is kind of a scary thing, almost a galaxy of terror by itself.
It is, because that's the thing is you if that is your job, and say you're one of these YouTubers that puts out content once a week, if it's something like any kind of something like a 20-minute review or something, I would be worried. Like if it was me, if it was me, like stuff I do, if I was expected to do one once a week, the amount of pressure it would put you under, and then I think your content would suffer for it as well, and then you would also run out of stuff you wanted to cover. Instead, you just be like, I'm going to be looking. You see, like a lot of them, they're like, today I'm going to look at some children's games because I literally have no idea for a video.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works. Like PBG's done something like that. That is an example, and it's funny and it works, but it still feels like he doesn't have a solid idea for a video. So I just went, that's a bit weird.
I feel he really kind of, PBG in particular, without going too much of a tangent, he just kind of like does random shit. Like that's his kind of edge is, I'm just going to pick random shit. And usually like family or kids games. I do, it is nice to have someone kind of do a certain particular kind of thing so you can tune in for that. These people who do just kind of do anything, it can be a bit frustrating sometimes because they will just like pick anything.
Yeah. And it may not be something you want to watch, so that thing you looked forward to that week is something you're not going to watch that week, so you have to find something else to do. That is one last, I guess another last piece of information I'd like to give is that you either do something that you love doing, like if you just love Mega Man X and you want to do Mega Man X speedruns, even though there's about maybe 100 other people doing the same thing across the globe.
Chris, do it.
Or do something that people aren't doing as often. For example, like on my channel, I have a cat lady Let's Play that has no commentary, but thousands of views. It was the one thing I thought that wouldn't get any views, and it was like the most viewed thing on my channel. And in comparison, I did Devil May Cry 3 as well with commentary, and it has like maybe like the 5th or the 6th in the list of the high views that I have, but it's been up way longer than the cat lady was because I wasn't even able to record on PC at the time. So you know what I'm saying? Like if you do something that you love, then you'll be doing something you love, which is fine. Or if you do something that's not as well known, then you'll have better exposure. But don't do like another Dark Souls Let's Play unless you really know what you're doing, because it has to be entertaining to watch. And watching somebody die 100 times over for like a 30-minute video, unless it's well edited and cut and meant to be funny, isn't really fun to watch. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just what I have found to be true, relatively speaking. But it's been 2 hours now. Let's wrap this one up.
A surprising amount of time on that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think this might be the longest podcast too. It's all your fault,
goodness.
Matt.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours 20.
This might be the longest. Your fault, Matt. All of it.
We had to get a stinker eventually. Even though I didn't like stuff like that, I didn't like the Dead Rising movie. It was still better than this.
Absolutely.
But we had to. It was going to happen that we were going to get an absolute stinker.
Like I will go back to that comment that I feel like it enriched my life. I feel like my life is better for having seen this. Maybe only the once.
Yeah.
No, it's not an absolute stinker, but we're always going to get one that was very frustrating.
Well, here's the thing. Like, as I was watching this movie, I was like, this is... In fact, I was going to say it in our Facebook chat. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. But no, other worse movies have cropped up in my memory, and they were experiences, like Tom mentioned as well. Like, you're sort of enriched for knowing that they exist. I watched a Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie. It was Hamlet in black and white with German language, English dub.
Okay.
And Mystery Science Theater 3000 could not save that movie. It was so boring. I have never contemplated suicide so hard than I had in that movie, and I watched it twice.
I think I used the wrong words. No, not an absolute stinker, but yeah, I mean that's the type of movie I was talking about where it's just there's nothing.
There's nothing. It's like a mouthful of ash.
Like, even comedians can't make it funny. People that make fun of bad movies cannot make it funny. At least we were able to have a discussion about Galaxy of Terror and take something from it, and there was good elements of it. But then you've got a film like you just mentioned that was just miserable.
It's misery incarnate.
Absolutely miserable.
And I watched it twice. The second time I was like being sadistic about it, like I'm gonna make my friends watch this piece of shit, and I was like, why did I do this? At the end of it, I was like hurting myself, like, oh god, I shouldn't have done this.
Why do I do this to myself? I made a huge mistake.
Okay. Well, I'd like to wrap it up
Yep.
by saying thank you all for listening, for spending your 2 hours with us. You could be doing anything else except watching Galaxy of Terror, because you shouldn't be doing that at all.
You could watch it twice.
But thank you again for
Yes,
spending
thank you
time
very
with us.
much.
Yes, thank you, you crazy, crazy people. We love you.
Well, he loves you. I'm indifferent.
And until next
You're in
week,
denial.
everybody watch Jacob's Ladder and stay beautiful, stay damned. And don't enter pyramids built off your worst fears. It's probably not going to end well.
Yeah, it won't end well.
Yeah. Don't get raped by giant worms.
You and the
Hooray!
rape.
Yeah, just don't get raped.
Bye.
Oh man, bye.
Oh, my head.
This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madcus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.